Imagine waking up in the arms of a cold-blooded man who treats you like a literal toy. Our poor Nugget is trembling as he's forced to submit to this absolute psycho. He's literally begging for mercy, but the man just tells him to think harder. Finally, he chokes out the word brother, and the monster finally looks satisfied. Fast forward to the real world, where our hero, Zhao Sui, is a top-tier model with a bottom-tier reputation. The staff are all whispering behind his back, calling him a snake who seduced his way to the top. They even gossip about him being a lowly, illegitimate child who doesn't belong in high society. Our boy hears every single word and it cuts deep. He remembers when he was first brought home, hoping for a family. But his big brother looked at him with icy eyes and called him disgusting. Zhao Sui has spent his whole life being treated like garbage by the one person he wanted to love. But don't worry, our boy has a savage side. He shuts down the haters with a single look and makes the manager fire them on the spot. To escape the stress of his miserable life, he decides to test out a new high-tech VR game. He's hoping for a world where he isn't hated, even if it's just digital. But the universe has a sick sense of humor because he wakes up tied in ribbons like a gift. He's a literal fox boy now, and the local players are already trying to hunt him down. He hides behind a trash can, realizing his reputation in this world is just as chaotic as the real one. Apparently, his character is a talentless star, accused of seducing a bald old man. He starts blushing like a mess when he realizes the rich man he should be seducing is his brother's double. Suddenly, a buff bunny maid in a dress literally drags him into a bar. The rabbit forces a drink on him, and our poor Nugget is too scared to say no. One sip in, and he starts having spicy hallucinations about his brother again. He's begging for the man to stop touching him, even in his dreams. He snaps out of it, realizing he's getting way too drunk for a game. He faints right there on the floor, and when he finally wakes up, it's pitch black. He checks his watch and panics. He's been in here way too long. He tries to log out, but the system flashes a terrifying red warning. The system is under maintenance, and the command is completely invalid. Errors start popping up everywhere as the digital world begins to glitch out. Then the ultimate nightmare appears, a 60-day countdown to world closure. If he doesn't find a way out before the timer hits 0, our precious hero is going to die for real. The clock is ticking on the literal end of the world, with only 60 days left before every digital soul is wiped out. Our boy realizes he's trapped in a game that's about to shut down, and if he doesn't find an exit strategy, he's toast. He rushes to the trial hall to gear up for one final mission. Once the equipment is on, the system tells him the only way out is to clear the game. It's a high-stakes escape room where the prize is his actual life. Suddenly, a memory sparks. He knows exactly what he needs to do. The main quest is simple: reach 100% affection with a target character. He's presented with 4 potential leads, and he thinks this is going to be a total breeze. But there's a catch: if he fails to win a heart within 60 days, it's game over for real. He needs to pick the easiest target to ensure his survival. First up is Yan Wen, a loyal Samoyed-type junior who's basically been his biggest fan since day one. He seems like the perfect low-effort choice for a quick win. But our boy decides to browse the catalog just in case there's an even better option. Next is a cold, elite lawyer who's actually a gray wolf from a rival company. Then there's the Indo-Chinese tiger professor who previously failed him in class. Talk about a toxic workplace. The options are all top-tier visuals, but the backstories are messy. There's one final candidate left to see. It's a powerful CEO who's a black king snake, and he's currently at the center of a major scandal. As his stats load in, our boy sees a silhouette that looks way too familiar. When the face is finally revealed, he's stunned. It's the spitting image of his real-life nemesis, Liang Yi. He can't believe his eyes. The digital CEO grabs him, and the system asks if he wants to pursue this man named Qin Yi. Our boy is shaken because the real Liang Yi would never look at him with such intense, longing eyes. Even if the face is a perfect match, the vibe is completely different. He imagines what a romance with this guy would be like, picturing them in a scandalous embrace. But then he snaps out of it and aggressively hits the no button. There is absolutely no way he's dealing with that cold-faced man in a digital world too. He's seen enough of that icy stare in reality to last a lifetime. He remembers how the real Liang Yi told him to never show his face again. So instead, he chooses the sweet junior to be his target. He grabs the Samoyed boy, thinking he's secured the easy route. The selection is confirmed, and the junior immediately goes in for a snuggle. The CEO is relegated to a background character, and the game finally begins. The world starts to shatter and reload into the story. A final warning pops up: affection levels cannot drop into the negatives. Our boy falls through the digital void, waking up in a place that feels freezing and suffocating. He opens his eyes only to find himself completely coiled in a massive, dark snake tail. And who should be looming over him but the CEO he just rejected? He's being held in a death grip against a very toned chest, and he is absolutely panicking. This was definitely not the sweet junior route he signed up for. A system summary pops up to explain the mess. Apparently in this world, Kinney is a senior he had a massive crush on in middle school. Because our boy was obsessed, he used his family's power to force the man into an engagement. When he realized Qin Yi loved someone else, he tried to trap him by sleeping with him. The system reveals the ultimate trap. If you don't choose the CEO as your target, the game starts with him angrily dumping you. Our boy is horrified by this trashy melodrama plot. He checks the affection meter, but since the CEO isn't his target, it's just a giant question mark. Qin Yi leans down, demanding to know what he's staring at. Trying to follow the script, our boy nervously asks if there's something the CEO wants to say. He's basically begging for the breakup to happen so he can leave. Before the man can even speak, our boy shouts that he agrees to end the engagement. He tries to make a break for it, thinking he's finally free. But the CEO isn't letting him go that easily. He pins him down, asking why he's acting so strange after claiming to love him. The snake tail tightens around his waist, and things start getting way too touchy-feely for a breakup scene. As they get uncomfortably close, our boy accidentally slips up and calls him Liang Yi. The CEO's eyes darken instantly at the unfamiliar name. He demands to know who the hell he's calling out for. Our boy realizes he's made a massive mistake and tries to scramble away, but the CEO pulls him back into a tight embrace. He's offended that our boy wants to leave right after they spent the night together. Our boy screams for him to let go, eventually resorting to biting the man's hand just to escape. He slams the door behind him as he flees the room. The CEO watches him go, calling him heartless. He looks at the bite mark on his hand with a dark, intrigued smirk. He knows this is only the beginning and they'll be meeting again very soon. Zhao Sui is spiraling because the plot is officially broken, but he's got no time to mope. The system is dragging him straight to the company for the next event. He decides to stop worrying about the main leads and focus entirely on his target, Yan Wen. But first, it's time for a little gacha luck to see what items he can score for the mission. He spins the wheel with high hopes, only to get slapped in the face with a basic R-rank card that just gives public information. Our boy is absolutely livid at this useless trash, feeling like the game is personally victimizing him. He brushes it off and focuses on the gold, maxing out Yan Wen's favorability. Suddenly, he spots a figure on the balcony and a heart meter starts ticking up. It's jumping from 80% all the way to a staggering 100%. And of course, it's the CEO himself, Qin Yi, looking way too handsome for our boy's sanity. Memories of their messy past start flooding back, like the time Qin Yi cold-heartedly told him to leave and never return. He remembers the weight of that threat, and the way his heart trembled. Qin Yi had pinned him down, demanding obedience and treating his departure like a sick joke. He wanted Zhao Sui to stay right where he could see him, and our poor hero could only stare back in silent defeat. The distance between them back then felt like an ocean, even as he tried to walk away. The shadow of Qin Yi's obsession loomed over him. It was a battle of wills that neither was winning. Qin Yi's internal monologue is even darker, viewing every move Zhao Sui makes as a mistake that needs punishment. He's convinced that in the end, the fox will come crawling back in chains. He remembers leaving him out in the pouring rain, forcing him to yield until he begged for mercy. The scandal on the phone is just the tip of the iceberg. Qin Yi realizes that the only one truly being punished in this game of cat and mouse is himself. He smirks through the pain, vowing that he will never ever let Zhao Sui date anyone else, not even in a simulation. Fast forward to the present at the corporate headquarters, where the agent is absolutely losing his mind because they're late for the director's meeting. The poor guy is practically in tears over the chaotic schedule, but the office is buzzing with rumors that a huge star has arrived. Zhao Sui wonders if his target has finally made an appearance. He hears the heavy footsteps of someone important and prepares to meet Yan Wen. But the universe loves a prank and out steps Qin Yi in a crisp suit, looking like he owns the air everyone is breathing. He radiates pure power, and Zhao Sui is instantly annoyed that this man is stalking his every move. The agent warns him to be on his best behavior, but before he can even blink, Qin Yi has his arms wrapped around him in a back hug. Our boy is struggling to break free while everyone watches the drama unfold. The agent is just standing there, buffering, wondering what part of the script he missed. Zhao Sui tries to keep it professional by asking about the day's work, but Qin Yi gets immediately jealous when he hears about a two-person ad shoot. The agent excitedly shows off the poster of the co-star. It's the smile angel himself, Yan Wen. But before they can even discuss it, a massive flower pot comes hurtling down from above. Qin Yi screams for him to move, but as he tries to reach out, he finds himself glitching. He can't touch him. He dives anyway, desperate to save him. As the pot shatters into a million pieces, he looks up hard in his throat, expecting the worst. But someone else beat him to it. Yan Wen is right there, holding Zhao Sui safely in his arms. It's a total shoujo manga moment that has our boy blushing hard. Zhao Sui is just glad he isn't a pancake, even if the entrance was a bit much. Meanwhile, Qin Yi is in the background, looking like he's about to commit a crime while clutching Zhao Sui like a prize. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and the poor agent is praying for his life. Yan Wen plays it cool, greeting the CEO with a smile. Qin Yi has a meeting to attend, but he makes sure to mark his territory by promising to pick Zhao Sui up later. He gives him a possessive head pat before walking away, leaving Yan Wen looking like he's been snubbed. But as soon as the CEO is gone, Yan Wen makes his move. He grabs Zhao Sui's hands and his favorability starts climbing immediately. Our boy can't help it, he thinks this clingy, cute puppy is actually pretty adorable. Yan Wen drops a bombshell, telling our hero that he's the only reason he even joined this chaotic industry. He refuses to be called a senior, claiming he's just a small-time celebrity compared to Sui's light. He gazes into Sui's eyes with enough intensity to melt butter, calling him the person he admires most. Sui's heart starts doing gymnastics, and he can't figure out if it's because Yan Wen is his mission target or if he's actually catching feelings. But the system doesn't lie, the affinity meter just jumped to 25%, so something is definitely working. Meanwhile, back at the office, the moody CEO Kinyi is nursing a literal bloody hand. He's playing the tough guy act by refusing a bandage, but his soul is clearly bruised. He's lurking in the shadows like a jealous ghost, watching Sui and Yan Wen get way too cozy on his monitor. He tries to convince himself that Yan Wen is just a useless, stupid idol who only has good looks going for him. He can't wrap his head around why Sui chose someone so seemingly incompetent over him. Seeing Sui look that happy with another man is like salt in his fresh wounds. His assistant makes the mistake of saying the two look like a perfect match, which earns him a grade A death stare. Kinyi storms off, muttering about Sui's poor taste while his jealousy levels reach critical mass. He walks away in a huff, but we all know he's obsessed. Back on set, it's time for a costume change that is definitely not safe for work. Sui realizes he needs to settle his engagement with Kinyi soon, otherwise, how can he shamelessly pursue his new white-haired obsession? But then he sees his outfit and nearly has a heart attack. It's basically a few strips of silk and some jewelry. Our poor heroine, our hero, is serving pure Greek god vibes and the camera is loving every inch of it. He's dying of embarrassment from the revealing clothes, but Yan Wen walks out looking like a literal thirst trap. The perfume commercial is about to get spicy as the director explains the concept. It's all about a god untainted by desire being tempted into longing. The visual alone is enough to make anyone swoon. The director wants Sui to use every method possible to tempt the god Yan Wen. As the cameras start rolling, Sui is a nervous wreck. Yan Wen notices his senior is trembling and decides to turn the charm up to 11, grabbing his hand and offering to teach him how it's done. He leans in close enough to share oxygen, telling Sui to remember this feeling well. Sui tries to tell himself it's just a job, but his brain keeps flashing back to his spicy moments with Kinyi. He remembers clinging to the CEO and asking to sleep in his bed, and the guilt is real. He's so distracted by the memories of those legs that he totally misses his cue. The camera catches his hesitation and the vibe gets awkward. Sui immediately apologizes, feeling like a total amateur. Yan Wen gets back into character, delivering his lines with terrifying sincerity and begging Sui to only look at him. Sui looks breathtakingly beautiful in the floral set, promising to give his character everything. He offers up his purest love, getting lost in the performance. But as Yan Wen leans in for the kill, he catches a whiff of a familiar scent on Sui. He immediately recognizes the perfume of his rival, Kinyi, and the atmosphere goes from romantic to icy in a second. Yan Wen loses his cool and shoves Sui away, demanding a break to adjust his emotions. The affinity meter takes a nosedive back down to 20%, leaving Sui standing there completely confused. Our boy is left wondering what he did wrong as the crew scrambles. He follows Yan Wen behind the scenes to figure out the drama. Yan Wen drops the act and asks the million-dollar question, does Sui still like that CEO jerk? Sui panics because, according to the original script, he was obsessed with Kinyi, and apparently everyone knows it. Yan Wen pins him against the wall, his jealousy finally exploding as he demands to know how he's any worse than the other guy. He tells Sui to stop looking at anyone else and just focus on him from now on. Sui is absolutely flustered by the sudden aggression. He realizes he's trapped in a classic jealousy trope, and his heart is racing for all the wrong reasons. Yan Wen tilts his chin up, his eyes burning with possessiveness. The affinity points bounce back to 25% as they return to the set, and Sui is ready to finish this. The director calls for action, and the tension is palpable. Yan Wen repeats his line about Sui only looking at him, but then he goes totally off script. He steals Sui's lines, vowing to give him the best of everything he has. Sui is stunned as Yan Wen takes over the scene. He promises his purest and fullest love with a gaze that could kill. He leans in for a neck nuzzle that was definitely not in the director's notes, and the affinity meter hits a new high of 30%. Little do they know, Kinyi is back in his office watching the sample footage. He stares at the screen with a look that says someone is going to die tonight. He knows that scene wasn't in the script, and the CEO is officially about to lose his mind. The shoot is finally over, and everyone is scrambling to get an autograph from the star of the show. Our girl watches from the sidelines as the system pings with a massive boost in favorability. She can't believe it's already hit 30% just from one interaction. Suddenly, a new map in the item shop unlock, offering a high-stakes task that she simply can't refuse. She thinks she's being sneaky, but the tension in the room is still thick. Yan Wen is busy turning down dinner invites left and right. Word on the street is they're about to film a travel variety show together, which is basically code for a dating show. Our girl is ready to jump into the action, and the chemistry between them is already sparkling. Yanwin gives her a smile that could melt lead, but the drama is only just beginning. Back in the dressing room, our heroine is struggling with her elaborate costume. Suddenly, the door is slammed open with a bang. It's Qin Yi, and he looks absolutely livid as he storms into the room. He demands to know if another man kissed her, his eyes burning with pure jealousy. He grabs her chin, forcing her to look him in the eye. She tries to explain, but he's not hearing any of it. Our poor heroine is sweating bullets, feeling guilty even though it was just for work. He questions why an ad even needs a kissing scene in the first place. He looms over her looking every bit the cold, demanding CO. She tries to play it off as a simple peck on the cheek, but he's not letting it go. He challenges her to practice with him if it's really that easy. Before she can protest, he's leaning in way too close for comfort. They bicker like a chaotic couple about professional acting standards. He insists that a good actor should be able to handle a little heat. He moves in for the kill, and our girl is left blushing like a tomato. The atmosphere in the room turns heavy and suffocatingly romantic. He lifts her up, claiming her in a way that's definitely not in the script. He growls that she has another man's scent on her, and he finds it absolutely disgusting. She tries to laugh it off, but he's dead serious about marking his territory. He leans into her neck, and she realizes he's not just playing around. He bites down hard, ignoring her pleas not to leave a visible mark. He smugly tells her that leaving a mark is exactly the point. Little do they know, Yanwin is standing right outside the door, witnessing the whole spicy scene. His manager tries to get him to go inside, but he decides it's best to leave them to their business. He walks away, looking deeply unsettled by what he just saw. Inside, our heroine is still reeling from the bite, and the cold, possessive energy radiating off Qin Yi. It feels like a snake is coiling around her, and she's totally trapped. She tries to fight back, but her chibai-sized rage is no match for him. A knock at the door interrupts them, and she realizes she needs to get out of there fast. She tells him someone is looking for him, hoping for a quick escape. But he laughs, pointing out that she's covered in his scent now. He cancels his meetings just to drive her home personally. He gives her a look that says she's not getting away that easily. She's terrified that going home will trigger a disastrous engagement cancellation plot. They arrive at the massive family mansion, and the vibe is instantly cold. As soon as she steps inside, her father starts screaming at her for being irresponsible. She sighs, realizing that this game is way more intense than she bargained for. A sudden memory of a woman from her past flashes before her eyes. She remembers being told never to call that woman's mom. The shadows of the past and the whispers of the servants start to close in. Everyone is comparing her to the golden child of the family, and the insults are savage. Her father tells her she might as well never come back if she loves staying out so much. She realizes with a bitter smile that this game is just as cruel as her real life. Our boy is starting to realize this game is feeling way too much like reality. He looks at his reflection, wondering if he can ever escape this virtual trap. Even with these cute ears, the family drama is reaching a boiling point. He tries to play it cool in the lounge while the topic of divorce hangs heavy in the air. Everyone is waiting for a reaction, but our hero is just trying to survive the awkwardness. He watches Qin Yi's every move, trying to figure out the man's next play. But Qin Yi just smirks, asking who on earth would ever want a divorce. Our hero is fuming because this man is definitely up to some new tricks. He's convinced there's a bug in the system because nothing is going according to plan. He desperately tries to summon his system panel to fix this mess. Since Qin Yi won't agree to it, our boy decides he'll take matters into his own hands. He stands his ground, declaring that if the Duke won't divorce him, he'll do it himself. His father is absolutely floored by the request, but eventually the system confirms the progress. Our little fox is over the moon, thinking his future is finally looking bright. But Qin Yi just gives him this savage, lingering look that says otherwise. He claims the one he's been playing with all along has always had a scent just like our heroes. Suddenly, spicy memories of them together start flooding back. Our boy is panicking because the script is going completely off the rails. Before he can process it, the patriarch slams his cup down, declaring there will be no divorce. Just then, a gorgeous new character appears on the stairs. It's the big brother, and he has a total red-haired visual feast. Our boy can't help but swoon a little at the sight of such a beauty. Qin Yi's jealousy flares up instantly when he sees how eagerly our hero greets him. Memories of the young master days start to blur with the present. The Chibai heads are arguing about work, but the tension in the room is much deeper. Despite the chaos, the brother gives our hero a gentle pat on the head. But that protective aura is actually kind of terrifying up close. Qin Yi isn't backing down and casually asks if he can just stay the night. He even suggests sleeping in our hero's room to discuss the divorce. Our hero is left feeling completely doomed by the dark aura radiating from the Duke. The atmosphere in the hallway is heavy with unspoken threats. Our hero tries to make a break for it, claiming he needs a bath immediately. Qin Yi just watches him go with a predatory smile. He's not even trying to hide his amusement at our boy's panic. Qin Yi starts wandering the room, taking in the scenery. He discovers a collection of player information and photos of our boy. He looks at a picture of our hero smiling and finds it oddly captivating. He can't help but admit that the target of his affection is just too cute. Our hero finally steps out of the bath looking soft and vulnerable. He's horrified to find Kinyi snooping through his private photos. He starts throwing things in a chibai rage, demanding to know why his privacy is being invaded. He tells him to stop being a creep, but Kinyi is distracted by his damp tail. Before he can react, Kinyi reaches out and grabs it. Our boy turns bright red, clutching his tail protectively. Kinyi just chuckles, calling him incredibly sensitive. He leans in, asking why he's being so stingy with a little touch. He doesn't stop there, moving his hands to our hero's fluffy ears. The sensation is so intense it leaves our boy trembling and weak in the knees. He snaps, telling Kinyi that if he's going to be this bold, then he should be allowed to touch back. Kinyi doesn't hesitate for a second and starts stripping off his clothes. He stands there shirtless, daring our hero to do his worst. Our boy stares at those rock-hard abs, wondering if he should actually go for it. He's shaking, but he reaches out to touch the game model's perfect proportions. He's impressed by the high-quality textures of this virtual world, but he quickly realizes he's getting a bit too carried away with his exploration. He tries to pull back, his face burning with embarrassment. Kinyi leans in closer, pulling our boy into his personal space. They lock eyes, and the romantic tension is absolutely off the charts. That's when our hero notices something strange, scales on Kinyi's head. Kinyi flinches, clearly not expecting his secret to be found. Our boy gets a devilish idea, realizing he's found a major weakness. He taunts him, reaching for the sensitive spot, but in his excitement, his foot slips on the floor. He loses his balance and goes tumbling forward. He lands directly on top of the man, the air being knocked out of him. Now he's pinned Kinyi to the bed in the most compromising position possible, but then he feels something press against him and realizes this game is way too realistic for his own good. Our poor heroine is currently pinned down, and she's starting to realize this game is a little *2* realistic for her heart to handle. She tries to play it cool and make a run for it, but the Duke isn't letting her off that easy. He demands to know where she thinks she's going after provoking him like that. Now he's demanding she take responsibility, and honestly, we're not complaining. The tension is rising so fast it's practically scorching. Our girl is feeling all sorts of strange things, and the heat is definitely becoming a problem. He towers over her with a savage smirk, asking if there's anywhere else she'd rather be. He's more than happy to take the blame if it means he gets to stay close. Things get even steamier when he offers to help her out. He even tells her not to cover her mouth because he wants to hear every single sound. He's being a total tease, refusing to continue until she says exactly what she wants. Talk about a chaotic power move. Our girl is practically a puddle at this point. He looks her right in the eyes and asks if she wants him to keep going. Of course, our little fox can't resist and gives him the green light. She's completely lost in the moment. And can we talk about those abs for a second? Total eye candy. They're practically glued to each other now. He calls her a devious little fox for being so good at seducing him. He's totally hooked and wants to know what she'll do next. She goes in for a cheeky lick, and the Duke is genuinely caught off guard. He laughs, asking if that's how a little fox shows affection. She decides to take matters into her own hands to return the favor. But just as things are getting to the good part, the system decides to be a total buzzkill. A massive error pops up because she's technically violating NPC rules. Even the mascot looks like it's seen too much. The Duke sighs, telling her it's not the right time and she needs to go to sleep before he loses control. He ends up wrapping her into a cozy little burrito before heading to the shower to cool off. After cleaning up, he looks like a literal god. He watches her sleep, looking way softer than he usually does. He thinks she's actually being quite well behaved for once. Our girl chases after him in a memory, begging him not to leave her behind. She promises to be the most obedient girl in the world if he just takes her along. She is practically pleading with him. He looks at her with a mix of pity and longing, knowing she'll probably leave him eventually anyway. But she's determined, grabbing his hands and swearing she'll never go. He notices she's barely wearing anything in the cold and immediately goes into protective mode. He wraps his jacket around her, making her look absolutely tiny. Then he hits her with a smirk, revealing he never actually planned on leaving her. The chemistry is just off the charts. He reminds her that she was the one who barged into his life first. They end up snuggled up together, lost in their own world. The next morning, the sun is shining, but the bed is cold. Our girl wakes up alone and wonders if he's already ditched her. She starts remembering everything from the night before, and the blush is instant. Every spicy detail comes rushing back. She ends up screaming into her pillow in a total state of panic. She tries to convince herself it's fine because he's just a bunch of game data. Yeah, it was just a game, no big deal, right? She tells herself to pull it together because there are still quests to finish. The system reminds her that a variety show filming is coming up next. She gets dressed in a super cute outfit, complete with glasses for that intellectual fox look. Downstairs, she tries to pack some food for later, but the butler is on her case immediately, complaining about her being late. He's totally playing favorites with her brother, and our girl is not having it. She's fuming at the obvious favoritism, but the system tells her to keep it cool. She storms out, deciding that out of sight, out of mind is the best policy. She heads into town to find the item shop. She spots a bookstore that looks like it might be the place. She steps inside, hoping for the best. It looks like a totally normal shop at first glance, but then she spots a staircase leading up and decides to investigate. It's creepy and dark, and she immediately gets a bad vibe. Suddenly, a high-tech security system locks onto her like she's a common criminal. She panics, ready to bolt before she gets blasted. Luckily, the system verifies her identity just in time. A cute little mascot appears, but our girl is still shaking from the near-death experience. Once she gets inside the actual shop, her jaw drops. Our girl is absolutely floored by how luxurious this secret shop is. She spots a shelf full of item cards and strategy guides that could definitely help her win over the male leads. But of course, the system hits her with a cold, insufficient balance warning. Checking her wallet, our poor heroine realizes she's basically a broke joke in this game world with only 100 coins to her name. She eyes the exclusive tasks, realizing she's going to have to grind for gold if she wants to survive. With her last bit of cash, she decides to take a gamble on the lucky spin. The cards flicker and spin in the air, but she ends up pulling a bunch of useless R-rank cards like Heat Period Charm and Shapeshift. Disappointed but not surprised, she trudges out of the shop, feeling like her luck has officially hit rock bottom. Back in reality, Zhao Sui is walking down the stairs while checking out a glowing new bracelet. But her heart nearly stops when a familiar voice calls out to her from the shadows. She panics, desperately trying to hide the glowing tech before she gets caught. Suddenly, Yan Wen is looming right over her shoulder, asking what kind of secret treasure she's trying to keep for herself. She tries to play it cool, acting like she's got nothing to hide, and spins a quick lie about just looking for obscure books in the shop. But Yan Wen isn't letting her off that easy, grabbing her wrist with a firm, dominant grip. He leans in close, his touch sending shivers down her spine. His glowing red eyes are filled with a dangerous intensity as he asks if there's something special on the second floor. Our heroine is sweating bullets under that heavy, suffocating gaze. She stammers out another excuse about the owner giving her special permission. Yan Wen stares at her for a long, silent moment, his expression unreadable. To her utter shock, he actually seems to buy her terrible explanation. He even gives her a charming send-off, kissing the back of her hand and promising to see her at the variety show tomorrow. As he walks away, she can't help but watch him with a mix of confusion and fear. That look in his eyes wasn't just intense. It felt like a predator finally spotting its favorite prey. She wonders if this is still just a dating game or if something much darker is going on. But maybe she's just overthinking things after a long day of chaos. Night falls over the massive family estate, and our girl is absolutely starving because she's been too stressed to eat all day. She remembers how the servants were packing up a feast earlier that morning, specifically for her beloved brother. She sneaks into the kitchen and opens the fridge, finding it stocked with high-end treats. She's annoyed that the staff clearly plays favorites in this house. Reaching for a bowl of fresh strawberries, she's ready to have a midnight snack, but a savage maid suddenly snatches the tray away, telling her it's not for her. The maid coldly tells her to go scavenge for leftovers in the back kitchen. Apparently, the staff only prepares meals for the young master of the house. The maid gives her a smug, condescending look that says everything. Well, if they won't let her eat, she'll just have to help herself out of spite. She stands in front of the open fridge, determined to feast like a queen. Our Chibai heroine starts munching away, feeling a tiny bit better with every bite. Suddenly, the front door clicks open, and a tall man with striking red hair walks in looking exhausted. He marches through the hall, only to find her standing there in the middle of the night with her mouth full of food. Our girl freezes like a deer in headlights, praying he doesn't start another lecture. She quickly offers him a plate, pretending she was actually waiting up just to feed him. He looks at her with total disdain, asking if she's forgotten that celebrities are supposed to maintain their figures. She's fuming internally but doesn't dare talk back to this grumpy man. He suddenly reaches out and grabs her chin, forcing her to look at him. He tells her that if she's going to be in the entertainment industry, she needs to work hard and stop being an embarrassment. He gives her cheek a painful little pinch for good measure, leaving her muttering under her breath about how much of a jerk he is. As he turns to leave, she notices his long, fluffy tail swaying behind him. It looks so soft that she can't resist reaching out and giving it a little squeeze. The man nearly jumps out of his skin, his face turning bright red as he demands to know what she's doing. She nervously laughs it off, claiming she was just comparing their tail colors. He stomps off in a huff, clearly flustered by her sudden boldness. She sighs, thinking he's definitely going to hate her even more now. But then a system notification pops up. She's unlocked a side quest and her family bond just increased by 10 points. She's genuinely confused why being a nuisance is actually working in her favor. The next day, the city is buzzing as the big variety show is finally about to start. Our girl is lounging in the back of a luxury car while her manager nags her about staying awake. She looks like a total boss in her sunglasses, even though the internet is still dragging her for being rejected by President Qin. She's barely listening to the manager's chatter, feeling totally drained. But she perks up when she hears she'll be grouped with Yan Wen for the travel segment. Just hearing his name brings back memories of those creepy, glowing eyes. She remembers the way he looked at her back at the bookstore. She tells herself to stay focused. She needs to max out his goodwill if she ever wants to escape this game. She takes off her glasses, hoping she's just being paranoid. She steps out of the car, ready to face the cameras and the crowd. The fans go wild as she makes her grand entrance. Our Chibai heroine is determined to play the part of the perfect star and win everyone over. But before she can even settle in, a hand rests on her shoulder. Yanwen leans down, whispering right into her ear in front of all the cameras. The live comment section is absolutely exploding with ship theories and drama. Just then, a sleek luxury car pulls up to the set, signaling the arrival of the final guest. The internet is losing its mind, speculating that it's a high-profile young master who rarely does interviews. As the car door opens and a hand reaches out, our girl realizes this show is about to get a whole lot more chaotic. A mysterious hand reaches out from the luxury car, setting the stage for a dramatic entrance. It's none other than Yan Wen, looking effortlessly handsome and way too intimidating for a simple variety show. Our feisty fox Ko Sui is absolutely losing it, wondering why this man keeps crashing his exclusive plotlines. The system starts glitching out immediately because Yan Wen's presence is literally breaking the script's logic. Red warning signs flash everywhere as the system screams about an illegal character entry. The screen shatters with digital errors, but Yan Wen doesn't seem to care about the rules of reality. Meanwhile, Kinyi steps in, acting all protective and worried about Ko Sui being left alone in the lion's den. The two big shots start a petty tug-of-war over our poor fox, turning the set into a chaotic battlefield of egos. Ko Sui is squeezed right in the middle, looking completely done with these two overgrown children. The production team is thrilled, though, because having both superstars on one show is a total ratings goldmine. Just then, a wild rival appears, Subai, a lop-eared rabbit who clearly didn't get the memo about staying in his lane. Subai approaches the group with a fake smile, but Ko Sui narrows his eyes, sensing the nice guy act from a mile away. Ko Sui realizes this person is definitely doing this on purpose to stir the pot. Turns out, Subai has been living in Ko Sui's shadow for years and is packing a mountain of resentment. Subai tries to play the I didn't even notice you card, acting like Ko Sui is just some classic cannon fodder. Our hero isn't taking the bait, but Subai is already pivoting to play the victim for the cameras. He starts acting all sweet and innocent, reminding everyone that this is a live stream to make Ko Sui look like the villain. The comments section is already blowing up with people falling for the rabbit's manipulative act. Ko Sui is internally screaming, realizing how annoying this game is becoming at every single turn. He remembers the times he was pushed around and the intimacy that felt like a trap. If restoring his reputation means putting up with this trash, then he's ready to flip the table on the whole mission. He flashes a savage smirk and coldly brushes off Subai's fake physical affection. Subai tries to act shocked, reminding him once again that thousands of people are watching live. Ko Sui leans in close, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper as he threatens to tear the rabbit apart. He looks Subai dead in the eye and promises to pluck every single one of his rabbit hairs until he's bald. He even suggests turning him into a spicy rabbit head dish, and honestly, we love the chaotic energy. It's a total food chain suppression, leaving the poor rabbit trembling in actual fear. Surprisingly, the livestream audience is obsessed with this fierce side of Ko Sui, proving that being a savage has its perks. Yan Wen watches the whole exchange from the sidelines, looking strangely impressed by the little fox's bite. He gives a knowing smile, recognizing the fiery spirit that makes Ko Sui so irresistible. A flashback shows us that our hero has always been like this, a fighter who never learned how to just give in. Those eyes have seen too much pain to ever let someone walk all over him again. Yan Wen reaches out to pat his head, a rare moment of genuine tenderness in this cutthroat environment. But there's no time for fluff. The director announces it's time to form groups of 2 for the upcoming tasks. Before Ko Sui can even blink, his hand is snatched up by someone eager to claim him. It's Kinyi, begging to be picked and promising to lead them both to a total victory. He admits he actually loved seeing Ko Sui go feral on the rabbit earlier. Ko Sui is stunned. Does this guy seriously have a thing for the aggressive type? Kinyi's imagination is clearly going to some very spicy places involving muzzles and restraints. He gets a bit too bold, his touch lingering in a way that's definitely not just friends. Our fox is blushing and flustered, trying to process this sudden shift in the idol's personality. But then Yan Wen swoops in, pulling Ko Sui against him and demanding they pair up instead. Ko Sui tries to summon the system to move this man away, but it's completely unresponsive. Yan Wen leans in, his gaze intense as he asks if Ko Sui will really do everything he says. Suddenly, Ko Sui has a vision of putting a leash on this arrogant CEO and making him crawl. He decides that pairing with Yan Wen is the perfect chance to finally bully the man back. After all, Yan Wen has been teasing him for way too long, and revenge is a dish best served on camera. Besides, there's something about that face that makes it impossible to look away. Ko Sui prepares to make his official choice, but the director beats him to the punch. The system forces the pairing with Yan Wen before he can even open his mouth to protest. He realizes the entire choice was a total lie and the system has been rigging the game from the start. The teams are given a map of task locations scattered across the beautiful seaside city. Every completed task earns a digital card that determines their food and housing quality for the night. The groups head out, but the tension between the rivals is thick enough to cut with a knife. Kinyi spots a task point and tries to rush Ko Sui over there to beat the others. He grabs Ko Sui's hand, desperate to prove that he's the better partner. But when they arrive, they find Yan Wen's team is already waiting for them with a smug look. The Chibai standoff is real as the two teams clash at the very first objective. Yan Wen asks if there's a rule saying only one team can work on a task at a time. His eyes flash with a competitive glint, showing he has no intention of backing down. The set becomes a battleground for Ko Sui's attention, with both men refusing to budge an inch. Yan Wen argues that more people make for better entertainment, even if it's driving Ko Sui crazy. They finally enter a high-end clothing store for their first challenge. The rules are simple. Find a hidden card in one of 10 outfits, but you have to wear whatever you pick for the rest of the journey. Ko Sui and Yan Wen start browsing the racks, each looking for the winning ticket. Our hero feels a gaze on his back and turns to find Yan Wen watching his every move. He sighs, wondering how on earth he ended up stuck with this man of all people. But as they stand side by side, it's clear this variety show journey is about to get a whole lot more complicated. He's literally fuming because he can't stand her teaming up with another guy. Our girl tries to play it cool, but how is she supposed to explain a secret mission he wouldn't understand? He's not taking no for an answer, and the intensity in his eyes is enough to make anyone tremble. Suddenly, the system alert starts screaming in his head like a chaotic alarm clock. He's determined to find a loophole because no way is he letting her stay with the competition. He drops the ultimate demand, team up with him or deal with the consequences. But first, it's time for a little dress-up session to see if these outfits hold any secret cards. She tells him to quit whining and just try the clothes on already. He's acting like a totally obedient puppy now, agreeing to whatever she says just to stay close. The curtain closes and the anticipation is absolutely killing us. And wow, CEO Kin comes out looking like a literal superstar instead of a stiff businessman. He's totally embarrassed, telling her to go ahead and laugh at his new look if she wants. Success, they actually manage to find a card hidden in the fabric. But our girl isn't done yet and shoves another outfit into his hands to keep the streak going. He's skeptical, thinking there's no way he's fitting into something that looks that small. To prove a point, he gives us an accidental abs reveal that has everyone swooning and screaming. Fine, he'll change, but the chaotic energy in this room is reaching a breaking point. Our girl steps out looking like an absolute goddess, even if she didn't find any cards this time. He tries to act unimpressed by calling it average, but his eyes are totally betrayed by that smirk. Wait a minute, are they actually wearing matching couple outfits right now? The realization hits her and she's low-key vibrating with pure embarrassment. Just then, the senior shows up to ruin the vibe and reclaim his spot as the lead. He gets uncomfortably close, sniffing her like he's trying to track a specific scent. He's suspicious because she smells different and the tension is getting awkward fast. Dealing with someone who has the personality of a needy dog is honestly exhausting for our poor heroine. If she pays attention to anyone else for even a second, he's definitely going to throw a massive tantrum. He tries to act generous by offering her his card, playing the part of the perfect gentleman. These two are acting like total children, competing for her attention like it's an Olympic sport. They finally head out to the next location, but the atmosphere is still heavy with unspoken words. Of course, the senior happened to find a secret map because his luck is just that savage. A quick montage of their tasks shows them absolutely crushing every challenge in their way. As the sun begins to set, the real drama is about to start under the glow of the moon. The director announces a group cooking mission and everyone is already feeling the burn. The stakes are high, the winners get a break while the losers have to do all the heavy lifting for dinner. Our girl's team is dead last and the scoreboard is looking pretty pathetic right now. It turns out her luck with drawing cards is actually non-existent. They head off to buy ingredients, but he seems way too happy for someone who just lost the challenge. He drops a total bombshell, confessing that he's just happy to be by her side regardless of the score. Silence falls between them as the weight of his words finally sinks in. He's confused by her sudden reaction, wondering why she looks so conflicted. Memories of the past start bubbling up and they aren't exactly the happy kind. He has no idea what she's thinking, but his gaze is softer than we've ever seen before. Suddenly, a hooded figure crashes into them, breaking the romantic tension instantly. The guy tries to run off with a quick apology, but something feels incredibly wrong. Liang Yi isn't letting him go that easily and grabs him with a terrifyingly strong grip. With a savage move, he trips the thief and sends him face-planting onto the pavement. Look at that, the guy was trying to steal the program's funding right under their noses. He confronts the thief with a cold, piercing stare that would make even a villain crumble. He admits he knows all the tricks because he used to live a life just like this a long time ago. He gives the guy a chilling warning to stay clean, showing a side of him that's dark and dangerous. Our girl is left wondering why he'd provoke someone so recklessly. Suddenly, the system triggers a massive memory download, hitting 100%. The fragments of the past start rushing back in a blurry emotional haze. She sees visions of two kids sitting under a tree, sharing a quiet, precious moment. It finally clicks. The white-haired boy from the welfare center was actually him all along. She can't believe that the powerful man standing in front of her is the same lonely kid from her past. He smiles sadly, realizing that she finally remembers the truth of their connection. He reveals that his childhood wasn't the happy story everyone in the industry assumes it was. Back then, his entire world was nothing but a pitch-black abyss of loneliness. He was surrounded by darkness and people who only wanted to see him fail. But then, a single ray of light appeared when he met her for the very first time. She was the only one who reached out, offering him her favorite snacks and genuine kindness. They bonded over books and secret dreams, becoming each other's only escape from reality. He promised her that if she ever wanted to find him, she just had to look for him on the big stage. She realizes now that she was the driving force behind his entire successful career. He's so grateful for her help, but she's drowning in guilt because she's not the person he thinks she is. She feels like a terrible person for taking credit for a life she didn't actually live. The memories shift to something even darker and more painful than before. She remembers the screams of her parents and the cold, heartless rejection of her own family. Her mother's words cut like a knife, telling her to never call her mom ever. In that moment, she felt like there was absolutely no one left in the entire world who cared. Standing alone in the pouring rain, she was ready to give up on everything. But then, a hand reached out through the storm to pull her back from the edge. It was Liang Yi, standing there drenched but determined to save her. He was the one who gave her existence a meaning when she had nothing left. Back in the present, she's been trying so hard to avoid these overwhelming feelings. She wonders if he'd actually be sad if she disappeared from this world forever. Or would he just move on and act like she never existed at all? The distance between them feels miles wide, even though they're standing right next to each other. He notices the tears streaming down her face and panics, asking her what's wrong. He thinks she's just pitying his sad story, but it's so much deeper than that. He tells her she doesn't need anyone's pity because she's incredible just the way she is. She can't stop the tears from falling as the weight of the past finally crashes down. She pulls him into a desperate hug, finally admitting to herself just how much she's missed him. To speedrun their tasks, the duo heads to the nearest convenience store. They're greeted with a warm welcome as they step into the bright aisles. Our boy is basically vibrating with excitement because even the in-game shops look so realistic. He feels like he's stepped back into the real world for a second. He spots something he loves and asks his senior if he can buy it. Senior takes one look at the hell pepper chips and realizes our boy has some seriously chaotic taste buds. Foxears is all sparkles as he asks Senior what flavor he likes. Not wanting to kill the vibe, Senior puts on his best I'm a spicy king face and claims he loves them too. He's totally lying, but hey, anything for the perfect match energy. Suddenly, the affection level jumps to 60%. But instead of being thrilled, Senior feels a strange sense of detachment. He wonders if the higher the affection goes, the less real it all feels. Our boy snaps him out of his deep thoughts to check the rest of the list. Next up on the menu of weird choices, folded deer root yogurt ice cream. Senior is convinced our boy's palate is from another planet, but he offers to treat him anyway. As they wander, Senior notes that our boy is acting totally different tonight. Usually, it feels like he's just grinding through a quest, but tonight, it feels like he's actually seeing him. Senior gives him a smile that could melt glaciers. They finish up their chaotic shopping spree and head out feeling pretty good about their progress. Suddenly, a tiny barriered girl runs up with some candy. It's her birthday and she wants to share her good luck with the handsome brothers. Senior looks at our boy, remembering his tragic childhood and how much this small kindness must mean. They wish the little cutie a happy birthday, and Senior gets all up in our boy's personal space, making him blush like crazy. Senior tries the candy and admits it's actually delicious. To return the favor, he decides to show off some skills and starts folding a piece of paper. He hands the girl a tiny, perfect origami cat. She's absolutely mesmerized, and honestly, so is our boy. He used to think this world was just a bunch of code and insignificant NPCs. But looking at the people around him, the CEO, the senior, the fans, he realizes they all have their own complex lives. It's so vivid and lively that it's becoming impossible to distinguish from reality. As the affection level hits 65%, our boy actually finds himself wishing the bar would move slower. He's not ready to leave this world or these people behind. Senior looks him in the eye and confirms they are definitely friends. He congratulates our boy for finally stepping out of the shadows and becoming a star. But for Senior, freedom is a heavy word. Manipulated and controlled, like a puppet on a string. He thought leaving that place would mean he was finally free. He walked through the gates and expected the world to open up, but he quickly realized he'd just traded one cage for another. The digital world is just more bars and more code. He looks at our boy with those piercing eyes, feeling trapped in his own existence. He whispers that he has a new wish. He leans in, asking if our boy would be willing to help him one more time. Our boy doesn't hesitate for a second, giving him a massive heart-eye smile. They're friends after all, and there's still 40 days left to make things happen. Back at the show, the procurement team finally returns. The fans are already placing bets, and they're seriously worried about the other team's cooking skills. One of the contestants is basically having a breakdown because he can't cook a single thing. But President Kin stays cool as a cucumber, looking over the recipe like it's $1 million contract. Everyone is losing their minds because apparently the CEO is a secret master chef. When asked how he learned, he drops a bomb. He used to have a very gluttonous roommate. The side characters start teasing that a relationship like that is definitely not ordinary. Our boy starts spiraling. Is the white moonlight mentioned in the original script? Kin catches his eye with a knowing look. We flash back to a younger, hungrier version of our boy sneaking into the kitchen late at night. He thinks he's being stealthy until the young master catches him red-handed. "What are you doing?" Kin asks, looming over him. Our poor boy is caught in 4K and can only stutter out a young master. Right on cue, his stomach lets out a massive grumble. He tries to play it off, claiming he just wanted water, and runs for his life. Kin just watches him flee, probably thinking he's the most ridiculous creature he's ever met. But instead of going back to bed, Kin rolls up his sleeves. Our boy is back in his room, curled up in a ball of embarrassment. But then he hears something at the door and finds a fresh plate of pasta waiting for him. He knows the maids or his parents would never do this. He wonders who the secret chef could be. He concludes it must have been the butler. Back in the present, Kin looks at him and thinks one thing: idiot. After a long day of tasks, the director finally announces that the team battle is over. But don't get too comfortable, because the final evaluation is actually based on individual points. To mix things up, the director reveals 3 types of accommodations for the night. The catch is that the first 2 people to pick the same room type will become new teammates for tomorrow. If you're obsessed with your current partner, you can pay 20 points to stay together, but our girl thinks that's a total scam. Our favorite fox boy is convinced the system is rigged anyway, so why waste the points? Little does he know, a certain dark-haired predator is watching his every move with very hungry eyes. Looking to relax, our hero spots a sign for a warm liquid hot spring and thinks it's the perfect plan. He's already imagining how a little steam and skinship might skyrocket those affection levels. He locks in his choice for the hot spring villa, certain that destiny or the rigged system will provide. He steps into the misty bath, only to see a gorgeous silhouette waiting in the water. Thinking he's hit the jackpot, he lunges forward and glumps the man from behind, marveling at those rock-hard muscles. But when the man turns around, our boy nearly jumps out of his skin because it's Kinyi. Before he can make a run for it, Kinyi yanks him straight into the water. They end up in a tangled, soaking wet mess that is way too close for comfort. Our poor hero is freaking out about his outfit getting ruined for tomorrow's filming. But as the water makes the fabric completely sheer, the atmosphere gets incredibly heavy. Kinyi tells him to change, but seeing him struggle, he decides to help by getting way too hands-on. The touch sends shivers down his spine, but he can't help but notice how insane Kinyi's body looks. He starts remembering some interesting rumors about snakes and wonders if they really have 2 of those. Being the chaotic soul he is, he actually asks to see Kinyi's snake tail. Kinyi smirks, agreeing to show his tail only if he gets to see something in return. He starts getting bold, reaching out to touch our boy's leg and suggesting they start with the fox's claws. Using a shapeshift card, our hero transforms his hands into adorable little paws. But things get weird fast when Kinyi actually starts licking the paws like a total pervert. Embarrassed and annoyed, our boy demands to see the tail as promised. Kinyi doesn't disappoint, letting his massive, dark scales coil through the water. It's terrifying and beautiful all at once, and our curious fox can't resist reaching out to touch the scales. But he accidentally touches a sensitive spot, and Kinyi's mood shifts instantly. He gets possessively jealous, asking if the other guy, Yan Wen, is usually this generous with him. Suddenly, those massive coils wrap around our boy, trapping him against Kinyi's chest. He tries to struggle, even biting the tail to get free, but it only makes the predator more aggressive. Kinyi pins him against the edge of the pool, his eyes glowing with a dangerous light. He's caught the scent of another man on our hero, and he is absolutely not having it. To mark his territory, he sinks his teeth into our boy's chest, leaving a stinging reminder of who he belongs to. He whispers for him to remember this feeling the next time he's alone with his target. Our poor hero is left trembling and teary-eyed, wondering why this lunatic is meddling in his business so aggressively. Kinyi leans in with a smirk, asking our girl why he's still acting so grumpy. He gets way too close for comfort, teasingly tugging on Ko Sui's sensitive fox ears. Our poor heroine is absolutely losing it, screaming internally about how sensitive those ears are while trying to maintain his dignity. He just wants to eat his breakfast in peace, but Kinyi is being a total pest and won't leave him alone. The other teams are already moving out to start the mission, but these 2 are stuck in their own little chaotic world. Ko Sui decides to ignore the flirting and just stuff his face with everything on the menu. He's on a mission to eat his weight in dim sum just to block out the tension. Kinyi watches him with an obsessed gaze while our girl devours a strawberry. But then things get spicy when Kinyi reaches out and brazenly grabs Ko Sui's waist. He has the audacity to start pinching him, teasingly asking how he eats so much without gaining a single pound. Sui is ready to throw hands or at least a fork as he snaps at him to stop touching, while Yi goes to pick up the rest of their order. The rival Yan Wen decides to slide in with some major attitude. He points out that Yi used to absolutely despise Sui. Yi doesn't miss a beat, coldly stating they aren't close and telling the white-haired snake to mind his own business. But Yan Wen isn't backing down, flashing a smile that screams trouble is coming. Yi's eyes narrow as he realizes something is very different about Yan Wen this time around. The tension between these two powerhouses is thick enough to cut with a knife. Yan Wen's eyes glow with a sinister red light. He reaches out to grab Yi's arm, but the Duke snaps at him to stay away from both him and Sui. Yan Wen just stands there laughing as Yi walks away in a huff. He watches from the shadows with a predatory gaze, his red eyes practically burning through the screen. He's definitely plotting something dark for our girl. He watches them acting all domestic at the table, declaring that this little game is finally getting interesting. Later that day, Sui is dragging Yi along, trying to focus on the task at hand. He's terrified of failing because the punishment for this mission is a total nightmare: cross-dressing. Yi, being the savage he is, looks way too excited about the prospect of seeing him in a dress. The final mission requires them to check in at 3 locations, but Yi suggests they just blow their budget on a date instead. Sui gets instantly distracted by paw-shaped ice cream, and suddenly their mission funds are disappearing on snacks. Yi is treating this like a luxury vacation, spending coins on taxis and fancy decorations. They're burning through their game currency like it's going out of style. Sui is fuming because they haven't done any actual work. While searching for a check-in point, he spots another player using a special item. He remembers he has a full information reveal card in his inventory. This rare item allows the player to see hidden stats for 1 full minute. He decides to activate the card, and suddenly the entire world changes. He can see everyone's favorability percentages floating right above their heads. It's like having a total cheat code for the game world. He turns around to find Yi holding a massive, beautiful bouquet of flowers. He looks into those golden eyes and sees the most impossible thing: a massive heart showing 100% favorability. Yi is literally at max level love for him. Sui's brain completely short-circuits. He can't believe it because the original story explicitly stated that Yi hated his guts. He thinks back to the original setup where Yi was the senior he failed to win over in school. But looking at how Yi has been acting lately, appearing in every scene and getting close, the truth is staring him right in the face. Our girl is blushing like an absolute mess. He tries to stay in denial, convincing himself that Yi is just a glitchy NPC. There's no way a main character would suddenly fall in love for no reason. He decides it must be a programming bug in the game. He starts regretting his life choices, thinking he could have cleared the game instantly if he just targeted Yi from the start. Meanwhile, his actual target Yan Wen is sitting at a measly 65%. Sui is worried that Yi's buggy behavior will keep interfering with his route. Yi notices him spacing out and asks why he's staring so hard. He hands over the flowers and asks if they should keep exploring. Sui tries to act cool, but his heart is doing backflips in his chest. Yi just gives him a look, wondering where all that motivation from earlier went. The scene shifts to the grand evening banquet. Yan Wen is there waiting. And then the moment of ultimate shame arrives. Sui appears in the punishment outfit, a frilly gothic Lolita dress. The mission was a total failure, but as he stands there in lace and garters, a hidden mission suddenly activates. The reward is insane. Yan Wen's favorability jumps by 35%, hitting a perfect 100%. Our girl is stunned. It means he can finally finish the game and leave this world for good. Our girl is absolutely shook as the favorability level shoots up by 35%, making her wonder if her escape from this chaotic game is finally within reach. Looking like a literal snack in those fox ears, she's ready to conquer the world. But wait, why is she in female clothing? The director is pushing for a photo shoot, and even if it's a punishment, she's stepping forward with more confidence than a villainess at her own execution. The goal is simple: don't let the viewers recognize teacher Zhao Sui in this getup. She's worried the audience isn't foolish enough to fall for it, especially since she's the only fox spirit around. But there's a catch: if the mission succeeds, she gets a golden ticket to tonight's banquet. She realizes she can bring a guest to help, and her mind immediately goes to the double rewards. Should she ask and when? Her expectations are high, but she knows a handsome guy might blow her cover. Suddenly he appears, teasing her for finally remembering him. She's blushing hard, trying to act tough while he plays with her hair. The cameras are ready and it's time to deliver. As long as the attention is elsewhere, she might just pull this off. But then the photo shoot takes a turn for the savage. We're talking chains, open shirts, and enough tension to snap a piano wire. Is this even allowed on the internet? Our girl is whispering her thanks while he asks if this is his reward. With favorability hitting a cool 100%, he's definitely enjoying the trailer drops, and the comment section is basically a war zone of thirsty fans. Since no one identified her in the first 100 comments, the mission is a total success. Fast forward to the evening banquet where the vibes are elegant and the stakes are high. The ballroom is packed with guests from previous rounds, making her feel the pressure. She spots Kinney across the room, looking like a dark prince. Fuming, she stomps after him, determined to settle the score. But she's so distracted, she bumps straight into a broad chest. It's Senior, and he's looking suspiciously kind. His red eyes flash with something intense as he grabs her wrist. He's acting all protective, asking if she's hurt, but the atmosphere feels heavy. He's thinking about how this might be the last opportunity to make his move. The appreciation party is in full swing, but our girl has other things on her mind. She runs into Qian Shuang, who's already looking toward future collaborations. Even if they're just NPCs, she's starting to actually like these characters. But the game is always watching, and her mood is finally starting to lift. She realizes Wen is missing and hears he went to the balcony. She wanders into the dark, calling out his name. The hallway is eerie, and she peeks around the corner with caution. Suddenly, red eyes glow in the darkness behind her. Before she can scream, a gloved hand clamps over her mouth. He's incredibly strong, and she realizes she's being captured. But wait, it's just him, teasing her for being afraid of the dark. She tries to act tough, telling him it's none of his business, but he's not letting go. The tension in the room is suffocating as they stare each other down. Outside, the moon is high, but the real drama is happening indoors. She starts wondering if he's actually a rogue player escaping the script. The thought of 2 players in one game is chaotic enough to make her head spin. She realizes that in this world, life is precious and unpredictable. She asks him if anyone would really risk their life for another. He looks at her with such intensity it's savage. To him, if someone is truly important, life and death don't even matter. She stares into his eyes, mesmerized by his conviction. He'd rather cherish every single second by her side than live in agony waiting for the next. In that moment, the fear of life and death just melts away as she looks deep into his gaze. But as she looks into his eyes, a perfect 100% favorability heart pops up, signaling a massive shift in their dynamic. Memories of a softer version of him holding flowers flood her mind, making the current tension feel even heavier. She remembers the way he used to look at her, but the current reality is much more chaotic. Suddenly, a flash of a forbidden kiss hits her and she can't believe her own eyes. She's spiraling, convinced it can't possibly be him after he told her to never appear before him again. He used to tease her, calling her his little fox while they shared quiet meals, but those days feel like a lifetime ago. Now he's leaning in with that same smug look, treating her like a toy. She grabs his sleeve with trembling hands, desperate for a single ounce of truth. Looking him dead in the eye, she forces him to answer, who is he really? He stares back, his gaze cold and unreadable as he challenges her to figure it out for herself. He looks down at her with those predatory eyes, making her heart race for all the wrong reasons. He lifts her chin as if he owns her, trapping her in his space. He asks if she's finally figured out the truth, but the words leave her completely stunned. She can't even process what he's saying as her mind goes completely blank. Even her chibai inner thoughts are screaming in confusion at this savage turn of events. Suddenly, the system mutes her, cutting off her ability to speak or defend herself. Emergency mode kicks in with a literal red alert screaming through her vision. A countdown begins, giving her only 1 minute to fix this absolute mess before the system force adjusts. She's paralyzed, unable to move a single muscle as the red glow locks her down. The guy notices something is wrong and asks if she's playing tricks again, completely unaware of her internal struggle. She's desperate to reach out to her senior, but her body won't obey. The moment is interrupted when Wen walks in, looking as chaotic as ever. This new guy arrives looking like pure trouble with his shirt open and jewels gleaming. He casually tells the other man to step aside so he can talk to his senior alone. The black-haired guy is absolutely fuming, his eyes burning with silent, savage rage. And Wen leans in close, invading her personal space and whispering sweet nothings. He's here to confess his feelings right in front of the competition. As the system timer hits 37, the atmosphere turns suffocatingly red. Our girl's head is pounding as the system completes an external inspection of the situation. Code starts flowing over her vision, revealing the digital truth of the world around her. She realizes the system adjustments are pushing her out and worries she's turning back into her original self. Everything becomes a blur of data and shadows as she loses her grip on the moment. A sharp sound cracks through the air, signaling a system glitch. She squeezes her eyes shut against the pain, trying to hold onto her consciousness. And Wen looks at her, confused by her sudden change in behavior and the look of agony on her face. She wonders if she saw his eyes correctly or if the system is playing tricks on her. Those blue eyes are a dead giveaway of something much deeper. She realizes he's not who she thought he was, he's a player too. The 2 men face off, sparks flying between them in a high-stakes standoff. She realizes all his strange behavior from before was just a calculated move. He's just another player in this twisted game, manipulating everything for his own gain. He's exactly like the others, playing with her heart like it's a mission objective. But wait, our fox-eared hero jumps back into the fray, asking what they're plotting behind his back. He looks at her with such intensity that she can't look away, even for a second. He whispers to her, his voice low and dangerous. He grabs her hand to deliver a message he's been holding back this entire time. And Wen is grinning, sensing a hidden mission is about to be triggered. He holds her hand tight, confessing that he's always really liked her. Our girl is sweating bullets, feeling the tension skyrocket as the game forces her hand. A new mission window pops up. Successfully confess for a massive favorability boost of 35%. He thinks this is going to be easy, but he has no idea what he's dealing with. But then she spots a glowing digital bracelet on his wrist that shouldn't be there. Her eyes go wide in shock as she realizes the implications. She tries to warn him not to touch it, realizing its significance to the game's code. Only a player should be able to see or remove that piece of gear. If she accepts his confession, could she finally escape this game, or is it a trap? She is floored that an NPC can see her mission interface accessories. She tries to play it off as just jewelry, but the lie tastes like ash. He's not buying it and insists on taking a closer look at her accessory. Her chibai self is in full panic mode as the mission teeters on the edge of total failure. She decides to take the risk and let him see the bracelet, hoping for the best. As she reaches to take it off for him, the air grows heavy with magic. He thinks he's finally won, a dark smirk playing on his lips. Suddenly, dark vines of energy wrap around her, trapping her in place. The bracelet shatters into digital dust, sending a shockwave through the room. The black-haired guy looks on, his face a mask of cold, unadulterated fury. He demands to know who she thinks she's confessing to while he's standing right there. The system timer hits 0 and the truth comes crashing out. She screams for him to stop, but the script is already in motion. He drops the ultimate bombshell, he's her fiancé. Her system is losing it, screaming that the script can't be undone and everything is ruined. And Wen tries to laugh it off, saying that engagement was ancient history. He insists they already broke it off, so he's free to do as he pleases. Our girl is lost. How does he know about a private family arrangement that was never made public? The black-haired guy smirks, asking who exactly told them the engagement was off, because he certainly didn't. And Wen's expression turns dark and predatory as he realizes he's been caught. He realizes there's a much more interesting target to play with now than just our poor heroine. The black-haired guy steps in front of her, protecting her as his favorability hits 65% in a moment of true chivalry. But our girl has a terrible feeling that this is just the calm before the storm. And Wen thinks it would be a pity for the game to end so soon without a little more chaos. Suddenly, the favorability alarms start blaring and her heart sinks. It drops to 40% in a heartbeat, leaving her breathless. Then it crashes to 15% as he accuses her of teasing him this entire time. It hits minus 20% as he looks at her with utter disappointment, his love turning to cold bitterness. He looks at her with cold, dead eyes and she realizes she's lost him. The system screen shatters completely as her world falls apart in a shower of digital glass. Our boy is hitting a new low as his favorability with the target takes a massive 20% dive. The system is glitching out and his heart is thumping right out of his chest as the screen flickers red. He's paralyzed by the sudden notification, realizing he's losing his grip on the situation. He tries to make a run for it, desperate to fix this mess before it's too late. But of course, the big guy isn't letting him off that easy and steps in to block his path. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife as he demands to know where he thinks he's going. Our poor hero isn't having it and shoves him aside with a savage move it. He storms off into the hallway, leaving the Duke standing in the dark. He frantically tries to summon his system interface, but it's total radio silence. Even the bracelet, his only lifeline in this world, has completely vanished from his wrist. He's spiraling, thinking if he can just find and when, maybe there's still a tiny chance to save this run. Suddenly, he's snatched into a back hug that feels more like a prison than a romantic gesture. He snaps, his eyes flashing with rage as he demands to know what this guy even wants from him anymore. He struggles to break free, feeling the weight of the game crushing him. He was so close to that 100% gold, and now everything is falling apart in real time. The system isn't giving him any updates, leaving him flying blind in a storm of drama. He starts thinking the unthinkable, maybe it's better to just die and restart this whole nightmare from the beginning. But then the lead drops the ultimate line, asking him to just like him instead. Our boy just laughs in his face, asking if that's the secret key to finally escaping this twisted game. He delivers the killing blow with a cold stare, telling him straight up that he will never, ever like him. Under the pouring rain, the drama reaches its peak as he's asked what exactly he's missing compared to the rival. Our boy goes full savage, admitting he's absolutely hated him from the very first second they met. He lists off every annoying thing from the guy's face to his very voice. He screams for him to disappear from his world already, but the moment the words leave his mouth, the regret hits like a freight train. The lead looks absolutely crushed, realizing all those smiles and kindness were just his own delusions. He finally backs off, his voice hollow as he tells him to just go home before he catches a cold. Our boy is left standing there, feeling like the absolute villain of his own story. He collapses on the ground, clutching his head and wondering why he feels so terrible if this is what he wanted. He's left sobbing in the rain, a broken mess of a protagonist. He finally trudges back home, only to get grilled by his guardian for being out so late. He ignores the lecture entirely, haunting the hallways like a ghost as he heads for his room. His family is left staring in confusion, wondering what happened to the lively boy they knew. Back in his room, he tries one last time to force the system open. It flickers to life, but it's a nightmare of red error messages and glitching code. The bracelet shatters into digital dust right before his eyes, leaving him truly alone in this world. He's left curled up on the floor in the dark, realizing the system has officially abandoned him. A soft knock at the door breaks the silence. Someone enters the bedroom, their footsteps heavy on the carpet. He's hiding under the covers like a sad burrito, asking why they're even here. It's the red-haired guardian, looking tired but genuinely concerned. He tells him to change out of those wet clothes, but our boy dramatically claims he's going to die anyway. The guardian isn't putting up with the theatrics and brings over a bowl of medicine. Our boy snarkily asks if he's finally planning to poison him. He gets a swift bonk on the head for being a brat, forcing him to speak properly. He downs the bitter drink, his face scrunching up in disgust. Then, the guardian surprises him by pulling out a box of his favorite cake. Our boy is suspicious, wondering if this is some kind of last meal before he kicks the bucket. He realizes the shop is nowhere near the man's work. He actually went way out of his way just to cheer him up, even though the cake got a bit smashed during the trip. He takes a bite and finally tastes something sweet in the middle of all this chaos. The red-haired man tenderly feeds our boy a slice of cake, and for a second, things seem almost sweet. But as he tastes it, he realizes this is exactly what he's been craving all along. Memories of the modern world and lonely bakeries flood back, reminding him of the life he left behind. He feels like his regrets are finally being fulfilled in this strange new reality. He looks at the beautiful treat, lost in thought. If this is where his journey ends, he thinks he can finally let go of the burden he's been carrying. But then a vision of a mysterious man appears, making him wish for just one more chance. The red-haired man promises to buy him cake every day from now on, but our girl's mind is already spinning. He realizes the system hasn't announced a failure yet, which means the game is still on. Suddenly savage, he tells the man to get lost because he's got work to do. But the door swings open and a new figure appears. A woman bursts in, claiming to be his mommy back from a business trip, and she is absolutely chaotic. Our boy is losing his mind because the plot is deviating and the system feels like it's collapsing. Images of the man he truly desires flicker through his mind like a fever dream. Suddenly, the world shifts back to a modern city and we're in a high-rise lobby. He tries to get past the front desk, but the receptionist isn't having it. She coldly tells him he doesn't have an appointment. Our boy tries to turn on the charm, pulling down his mask to show that handsome face. But the news is grim. His contract was terminated 2 months ago. He's stunned, wondering how his manager could let this happen. He realizes his manager's name is the same as his own, Zhao Sui, and things get even weirder. A man in a sharp suit approaches him. He claims to be the assistant to Director Qin, but our boy remembers him looking completely different. He's suspicious, sensing that the NPCs are changing right before his eyes. The assistant takes the clothes he brought and tells him to beat it. He demands to know where Director Qin is. Why didn't the man he loves come to see him personally? The assistant delivers a soul-crushing blow. The director has agreed to cancel their engagement entirely. As the man walks away, our boy's heart sinks into his stomach. He watches him leave, feeling more alone than ever. The assistant reminds him that the director is busy and has no interest in seeing him. It's a cold rejection that cuts deep. Then he spots Yuen, another character who should be an NPC. But the system shows his affection is at 0%, which is a massive jump from the -20 it used to be. He realizes the game isn't over, it's just evolving into something terrifying. Yuen smiles, admitting he's actually more interested in Director Qin now. Our boy is horrified, since when do NPCs start dating each other in an autom game? Yuen's expression turns dark and sinister. He leans in close, whispering that he has no feelings left for our protagonist. The world starts to glitch and blur as reality breaks apart. Everything is falling to zero and the system begins to scream. Cracks spiderweb across the floor as the digital world shatters. A massive error message pops up, the character Yuen has failed. A red light consumes everything as the code bleeds. The reality he knew is being deleted and he screams that he doesn't want to die. He falls through a void of data and broken memories. Shadows of the world he failed to save loom over him. He reaches out, desperate to grab onto anything. Glitchy text fills his vision and he can't understand a word of it. In a moment of pure panic, he just mashes the yes button. The system initiates a hard reboot. A blueprint of the world starts to rebuild itself in blue light. Everything is reorganizing piece by piece. A notification rings out. Player Zhao Sui has officially entered the world. Our boy wakes up gasping for air as the light fades. He finds himself standing in a familiar, grand ballroom. He realizes he's been sent back to the very beginning of the game. Silhouettes of potential targets appear before him, waiting for a choice. He's trembling, realizing the nightmare is starting all over again. But a small part of him is relieved that he has a second chance. He tries to pick a different path, but the system tells him those characters are locked. He's stuck with the one man who broke his heart. He looks up and sees him, Kinyi, looking as cold and untouchable as ever. Memories of their passionate and painful past flood back to him. He thinks that if he chooses him again, maybe he can finally escape this loop. But he remembers the harsh words, the rejection, and the way he was cast aside. He can still hear the voice telling him to get out of his world. Our chibai protagonist is sweating bullets, knowing how hard this route is going to be. He tries to click on anyone else, but the system keeps blocking him. He's spiraling, realizing he has no other choice. With a leap of faith, he throws himself at Kinyi, shouting that he chooses him. He clings to the man's suit, desperate for a different outcome. Kinyi looks down at him with an unreadable expression. Those golden eyes are chilling, showing absolutely no mercy. Our boy is terrified. Does he still remember what happened before the reboot? He can feel the tension in the air as he waits for a reaction. Suddenly, Kinyi grabs him, his grip firm and possessive. The system dings, target character selected successfully. The countdown begins as the game officially starts. He feels himself falling through the void once more. He closes his eyes, drifting through a sea of stars. He feels a warm, strong arm wrap around his waist, and he realizes he's back at that part of the story. This time, he swears he's going to do it right. He opens his eyes in a soft, luxurious bed. He looks around, recognizing the room immediately. He's back in his own bed at the very start of the drama. Our boy Ko Sui wakes up in his own bed, disoriented and desperately searching for Kinyi. He checks his high-tech watch only to realize it's April 18th, meaning the story hasn't even reached the critical point yet. He sighs in relief, realizing he's back before the chaos truly erupted. But as he tries to relax, he feels a phantom weight around his waist and wonders where his man is. He decides to head out early to intercept the target, but his red-haired housemate is already being a major roadblock. Apparently they're engaged in this timeline, and this guy isn't letting him off easy. Our fox boy isn't having it and bolts for the door, shouting that he's going to be late. He arrives at Kinyi's massive corporate tower, ready to play the game. He tells himself he'll just leave the simulation the moment he sees him, but his heart says otherwise. He even tries to convince himself that dating a carbon copy of his love wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Suddenly, the man of the hour arrives, and the office atmosphere turns icy as everyone bows. Ko Sui's nerves are absolutely shot as he tries to steady his breathing. He reminds himself that Kinyi shouldn't have any memories of their previous messy run. He calls out to him with a hopeful smile. But before he can even get close, the assistant physically blocks him like a human shield. Kinyi doesn't even spare him a glance, walking past like he's invisible. Ko Sui isn't giving up that easily and chases after the cold sea. He manages to grab Kinyi's arm, but the look he gets in return is pure frost. Kinyi demands he let go immediately, showing zero warmth. Ko Sui's eyes drop to the man's hand, noticing a ring that shouldn't be there. He looks at his own bare fingers and realizes something is very, very wrong. Kinyi drops a bombshell. They've already broken off the engagement. He tells Ko Sui to stop pestering him, and the rejection is savage. Our boy tries to laugh it off as a bad joke, but Kinyi's glare says he's dead serious. Kinyi pulls away, and the system shows a big fat question mark for his affection level. He adjusts his sleeve with total indifference, leaving Ko Sui standing there like a fool. Ko Sui is losing it. How can there be absolutely zero affection points? He frantically pulls up the system panel to see what the hell happened to his backstory. He even tried to seduce him because he knew Kinyi loved someone else. The system basically tells him he's doomed. Whether he chooses Kinyi or not, the engagement is destined to break. He's ready to throw the whole game in the trash at this point. He wonders who this mysterious true love could be. Meanwhile, on the 31st floor, the assistant is busy apologizing for Ko Sui's annoying presence. He mentions a Mr. Song is arriving, and Kinyi's expression shifts instantly. Enter Shuang Zisai, a pink-haired beauty who has the audacity to grab Kinyi by the tie. He asks if Kinyi forgot him after 6 months, and the tension is palpable. Ko Sui realizes that for some people, first love isn't sweet. It's painful and hidden deep within. It's a memory that's impossible to wash away. Back in the room, the rival asks if Kinyi has moved on. Ko Sui storms in, demanding to know who this interloper is. The system identifies him as a famous author who Kinyi allegedly confessed to years ago. Ko Sui is reeling from the shock. Kinyi steps in and physically blocks Ko Sui from looking at the newcomer. Our boy is fuming. He can't even look at the guy. Kinyi coldly tells him to get lost. Ko Sui looks like his world is ending, but Kinyi leans in just to confirm he has zero interest in seeing him. Kinyi turns his back on him to discuss a script with his first love. The rival thinks it's hilarious that Kinyi is acting so possessive over his ex. Ko Sui catches the vibe and feels a surge of jealousy. He's dismissed like a common pest. He forces a smile and promises to see him tomorrow, even though he's dying inside. In Chibai mode, he rants about Kinyi's terrible taste in men. Later, he's face down on his sofa, completely drained by the drama. The system confirms the worst. Kinyi currently has zero affection for him. He flashes back to Kinyi telling him to vanish from his world. But a ping from his phone changes everything. A new script has arrived. It's a mission invested in by Kinyi himself. Ko Sui smirks, ready to dive back into the lion's den tomorrow. President Kin is busy running his empire, expecting a productive morning. But his secretary interrupts to let him know that a certain troublesome actor has made himself far too comfortable in his private office. Our boy Zhao Sui is lounging like he owns the place, looking absolutely savage in a lace choker and a very open shirt. Kinyi immediately sends his secretary away so he can deal with this chaotic visitor without an audience. Zhao Sui isn't here for a business meeting though. He's brought a lunchbox made with love just for his favorite president. It's wrapped up in a pretty pink bow, looking like a total swoon-worthy gesture. He claims he spent all morning in the kitchen, but in reality he just pointed at a menu and let his butler do the heavy lifting. Kinyi doesn't even blink, coldly stating that he doesn't like it before even seeing what's inside. Not one to take no for an answer, Zhao Sui leans in close, grabbing Kin's hand and asking how he can be so sure he'll hate it. The tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a knife, and even the stoic president is starting to sweat bullets. Zhao Sui is playing a dangerous game, practically begging for a reaction as he strokes the president's hand. He presses his luck even further, getting way too close for a professional setting. Those fox ears are twitching with pure mischief as he waits for a breakdown. Finally, Kinyi has had enough of the games and pushes him back, trying to regain some semblance of control. He scolds our boy for dressing so inappropriately for a corporate office, but Zhao Sui's ego is massive. He immediately assumes Kin is just jealous that other people might see him looking this good. But Kinyi remains a total brick wall, leaving Zhao Sui frustrated that his charms aren't working their usual magic. He tries to play it cool, asking if he can come back tomorrow, and Kin gives him a vague "up to you." Before leaving, he teases a secret about his next movie project. He wants to keep the mystery alive, leaving the president with a lingering question. Kinyi watches him go, his golden eyes filled with unreadable, chaotic thoughts. He thinks Zhao Sui is just a pretty face with stiff, exaggerated acting skills. In his eyes, the boy is completely unqualified for such a major role. He slams the files down, making his stance on nepotism very clear. He tells the screenwriter that if the director picked him, there must be a reason, but he isn't going to make it easy. The screenwriter notices something is up, sensing a shift in the president's usually frozen heart. He points out that Kin and the actor seem to have gotten quite close lately. Kin's heart skips a beat, but he tries to maintain his cold, professional exterior. He can't help but remember the way Zhao Sui's hand felt on his own. The screenwriter calls out to him again, noticing he's totally spaced out. Kinyi tries to deflect, saying the final casting decision is entirely in the screenwriter's hands. He tells him to do whatever he thinks is best, basically throwing Zhao Sui under the bus to test him. The screenwriter smiles, realizing that the Kinyi he knew is definitely acting different today. He decides to spice things up by mentioning someone else he has his eye on for the role. He proposes an open audition between Zhao Sui and this new mystery candidate. It's a savage move, and he's confident that the best man will win. Meanwhile, in another part of the building, the atmosphere is much more tense. Zhao Sui is complaining about the bugs in this game world he's stuck in, feeling like free labor. Suddenly, his manager bursts in with a face full of panic, announcing that the role is being recast. The screenwriter isn't satisfied and is holding open auditions, which is a total nightmare for our boy. Zhao Sui is shocked that a writer has that much authority over his career. But this isn't just any writer. His works are all award-winning masterpieces that cost a fortune to secure. The manager is spiraling because they only got the role through connections in the first place. Zhao Sui is confused, wondering what kind of powerful connections he even has. It turns out his brother is the biggest investor in the entire movie. His brother might look cold and intimidating, but he's actually a total softie for his little sibling. Despite the bad news, Zhao Sui remains confident, believing the script suits him perfectly. His manager isn't taking any chances and signs him up for intense acting classes immediately. But Zhao Sui is more interested in visiting the office to study the president instead. He's back to his flirting ways, promising to be back again tomorrow. As the sun sets, Zhao Sui leaves a trail of chaos behind him. Kinyi is left alone in his office, looking more stressed than a man with $1 billion should be. He's so out of it that he's over an hour late for his next meeting. His secretary notices he looks a little off, but the president just tries to power through the distraction of his favorite fox. President Kin is currently in a mood darker than his coffee, and his poor assistant is definitely feeling the heat. He demands to know if our boy has arrived yet, but he's already busy on the second floor. The second Kin hears Ko Sui is doing a screen test. His gloomy aura evaporates into pure excitement. He's practically sparkling at the thought of seeing his favorite person in action. Meanwhile, our boy Ko Sui is absolutely fuming because he didn't realize the screenwriter was none other than Song Zisai. Song is busy tearing the current actors to shreds, claiming their performance is shallower than a puddle. He scoffs at the idea of Ko Sui auditioning, calling him a pampered prince who couldn't possibly understand real pain. But our boy isn't taking that lying down, and he lunges forward with a terrifying intensity that leaves the room speechless. He stares Song right in the eye, his presence becoming absolutely savage. With a chilling smirk, he asks the writer if he's ever actually felt true fear. Song is left trembling, wondering if that was actually acting or something much darker. Kyo-sui immediately flips the switch back to polite mode and asks for his shot. As the cameras roll, our boy's entire vibe changes, and he dives deep into the character of Lin Chuan. Every movement and every glance is hauntingly perfect. Internally, he's not even acting. He's just channeling the desperate version of himself that struggled to survive before all this chaos. He's showing everyone exactly who he used to be, and it's heartbreaking. President Kin is watching the monitor with an intense gaze, his heart clearly skipping a beat. Kyo-sui delivers a line about a kiss being the only cure for his pain, and the chemistry is off the charts. Everyone is absolutely floored by his talent. But the mood is ruined when a mysterious white-haired senior named Yan Wen walks in. Our boy looks like he's seen a ghost, desperately trying to get away from the man. He's panicking because this guy wasn't even supposed to be a main character in his current strategy route. Yan Wen is the official protagonist of the show, and Song Zisai wants to see them test their chemistry together. Kyo-sui is sweating bullets, but before Yan Wen can get too close, a massive hand slams against the door. It's President Kin, looking like a total boss as he sheds his jacket. He's not about to let anyone else play house with his man. Kyo-sui tries to tell him to play nice because he really needs this role to complete his mission. Kin just leans in close, asking if there's anything he hasn't already given him. Without a single rehearsal, Kin steps onto the set, radiating pure power. The room is dead silent as the two of them lock eyes, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Kin delivers his lines with a raw, possessive energy that has everyone swooning. He pulls Kyo-sui close, demanding he come to his side, and honestly, we are all screaming. Our poor heroine is covered in scratches and bruises, looking like he just crawled out of a back alley brawl. Kinyi's gaze turns icy as he checks the marks, and you just know someone is going to pay for this. But our boy just flashes a nervous, sparkling smile, trying to play off the pain like a total pro. Kinyi isn't buying the act for a second, grabbing his chin and demanding to know exactly who he got into a fight with. Instead of being scared, our girl just giggles, teasingly asking if the big, bad CEO actually feels sorry for him. The tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a knife as they lock eyes. Suddenly, the audition begins, and the atmosphere shifts into something much more intimate. Kinyi leans in dangerously close to his neck, his breath sending shivers down our boy's spine. He touches the wound on his neck, questioning if he's really willing to go this far just for a role. Our boy is totally flustered, wondering why this man can't stop touching him when it tickles this much. Kinyi is a natural-born actor, delivering lines about not coming home if he keeps fighting. Our boy plays right along, leaning into the drama with a smirk. He begs for forgiveness, promising he won't get hurt again in a voice that would melt anyone. Then he drops the big brother bomb, and the look on Kinyi's face is absolutely priceless. Kinyi is visibly shaken, demanding to know what he just called him while our boy celebrates his little victory. The CEO finally cracks a smile, admitting defeat in this round of emotional warfare. He softly confesses that yes, he actually does feel sorry for him. Our boy's heart starts doing backflips, and he realizes he's getting way too deep into this. Suddenly, a literal affection bar pops up, showing a solid 30% progress. He's offended it's only 30%, wondering if he's really that unappealing to this man. He checks the strategy guide and realizes he needs more skinship to unlock the higher levels. Determined, he decides that Kinyi definitely likes him more than he's letting on. The two get so close their noses are practically touching, sending the sexual tension through the room. But of course the moment is broken, leaving our boy wanting more. The judges are absolutely floored, praising the suppressed emotional tension between the two. They think the chemistry was just acting, but we know the truth is way more chaotic. Unsurprisingly, our boy nails the role of Lin Chuan, securing his spot on the set. He's over the moon, already imagining his future stardom. Kinyi tries to make a quick exit for work, but our boy isn't letting him off that easy. He grabs Kinyi's arm with a cheeky grin, refusing to let go. He boldly asks if he can come over to Kinyi's place tonight, shooting his shot with zero shame. He checks the bar again, but it hasn't budged an inch, making him realize he needs a better approach. Kinyi brushes him off, asking what he's doing. Our boy quickly pivots, using a forgotten lunchbox as the perfect excuse to invade his privacy. Kinyi suggests sending an assistant, but our girl is already 10 steps ahead. He insists on going himself, his eyes sparkling with hidden motives. He's already planning the ultimate seduction for later that evening. In his head, he's already winning over Kinyi and conquering him completely. He's ready to make his move and seal the deal. But his confident walk comes to a screeching halt when he spots something scandalous. It's Song Zisai, the supposed white moonlight, looking suspiciously cool while smoking a cigarette. He's not alone either, as he leans in close to another guy in the shadows. The mysterious man confronts him, asking why he's even here if he doesn't like Kinyi. Song Zisai just scoffs, playing a dangerous game of hearts. The guy accuses him of just stringing Kinyi along for his own gain. But Song Zisai doesn't care, claiming Kinyi gives him exactly what he wants. When asked what the other guy can offer, the atmosphere turns freezing cold. Suddenly, they're pinning each other against the wall in a heated, messy embrace. Our boy is watching the whole NTR drama unfold from the sidelines, absolutely shook. He realizes this is his golden ticket to finally get rid of his rival. When Kinney finally arrives, our boy is waiting for him with a look of pure mischief. He claims he has some massive tea to spill that's going to change everything. Kinney looks exhausted, but our boy is too excited to care. He drops the bombshell, telling Kinney that he saw Song Zisai kissing someone else. He thinks he's won the war, imagining the affection bar skyrocketing to 100%. But Kinney just coldly tells him to go home and talk about it tomorrow. Refusing to be ignored, our boy shouts the news again, desperate for a reaction. Kinney stops dead in his tracks, the silence becoming deafening. He turns around with an expression that says he's not surprised at all. Our boy's jaw hits the floor as he realizes Kinney already knew about the betrayal. The guy just turns his back and leaves Sui standing there like a lost puppy. Our poor fox girl tries to play it cool when a friend asks why she's down here. Sui puts on a brave face and lies through her teeth, claiming she just had something important to discuss. But as the night settles in, the weight of the rejection really starts to hit. Before she can wallow, Uncle Wang shows up to drag her home on orders. She gets handled like a literal sack of potatoes in chibai form. Our girl is fuming because men's thoughts are apparently the most confusing puzzle on the planet. She forces a sparkly smile and waves goodbye, even though her soul is basically leaving her body. The scene shifts to a filming set where the crew is hard at work. Sui gets the royal treatment as her staff helps her into a coat. Everyone is rushing around to get the lighting just right for the next shot. Sui looks out over the set, marveling at how realistic the production is. But standing there alone makes her realize how much this scene reminds her of the past. She looks down at her shoes and the memories come flooding back. It feels exactly like the very first day she met him. Flashback to a high-class party where young Sui was just an awkward tag-along. She felt like a total outsider while everyone else socialized with champagne. She was already hiding bruises back then, clutching her arm in the shadows. Her mother was no help, constantly pressuring her and being way too rough. Everyone at the party was whispering, their judgmental eyes following her every move. Sui just wanted to disappear, but she knew she couldn't leave yet. Suddenly, the young master Liang Yi makes his grand entrance down the stairs. He looks like he stepped straight out of a luxury catalog. From his perfectly knotted tie to his cold, piercing gaze, he was perfection personified. Our girl was absolutely starstruck, her heart doing backflips. She couldn't help it, he was just too beautiful for words. Her mother immediately pushes her forward to greet her older brother. But Liang Yi isn't interested in playing family and tells her to never call him that. Her father is furious at the disrespect and demands an immediate apology. Liang Yi just scoffs, pointing out that his mother certainly never gave birth to a younger brother. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife as the mother tries to play the victim. Sui can only clutch her mother's sleeve, feeling the weight of the hatred in the room. Liang Yi looks at her like she's a bug he wants to squash. Sui tries to brush off the bad vibes, but the rejection stings. She repeats his name over and over in her head like a mantra. Despite his coldness, she still thinks he's the most wonderful person she's ever seen. But reality hits hard when she gets home and her mother slaps her across the face. The woman is a total nightmare, screaming at Sui to stop calling her mom. She treats Sui like a burden, blaming her for how tough their lives are. Sui looks up with tear-filled eyes as her mother demands she win over Liang. The woman is obsessed with status and thinks Sui is a complete failure for losing face. Sui is left with a burning mark on her cheek and a shattered heart. She knows Liang Yi hates her and the staff at the house aren't any better. They whisper behind her back, calling her a shameful, illegitimate child. They treat her like absolute garbage. The maid tells her she's too late for dinner and leaves her with an empty stomach. Sui tries to stay strong, but the hunger and the bruises are too much. She's treated like she doesn't even exist in her own home. As night falls, her stomach won't stop growling. She clutches her belly, trying to ignore the sharp pains of hunger. Finally, she can't take it anymore and sneaks into the kitchen. She grabs a single piece of bread, thinking she's safe. But of course, Liang Yi is lurking in the shadows to catch her in the act. She panics and tries to hide the food behind her back. He roughly grabs her wrist, exposing her crime to the world. Sui starts sobbing, explaining that she was just so hungry. Liang Yi just mocks her, calling her a pathetic actress. He looks at her with pure disgust, his mind full of resentment. He looks at a photo of his real mother and the life he used to have. His eyes reflect the pain of his loss, and he takes it all out on Sui. He pins her against the counter, blaming her mother for destroying his family. He shoves her away with zero mercy, leaving her coughing on the floor. He tells her to stop dreaming because this house will never be hers. His cold eyes show absolutely no remorse for the girl he just broke. Sui is left huddled on the floor, shivering and terrified. The next morning, the school day starts like any other. The courtyard is buzzing with students who have no idea about the drama. Liang Yi walks through the halls with his usual untouchable aura. A friend catches up to him, teasing him about his handsome younger brother. Liang Yi's expression turns ice cold at the mention of Sui. His friend jokes that he's hiding a beauty at home, but Liang Yi is not amused. He stops dead in his tracks, his voice dropping to a whisper. He looks his friend in the eye and declares that he doesn't have a younger brother. Our girl is just trying to mind her own business in the hallway. But the moment she steps into the classroom, the atmosphere turns toxic. The local trash tier bullies decide her desk is the perfect target for their garbage. They think it's hilarious to dump their literal waste on her while laughing like total losers. This lead jerk demands she clean the whole room since it's her turn, acting like he owns the place. While the rest of the class stays silent and awkward, our girl is busy simmering with a rage that's about to boil over. She gives him a look that could kill, but he just doubles down, mocking her for being an illegitimate child. He has the audacity to grab her collar, trying to exert some pathetic dominance. But our girl isn't trembling, she's smirking, calling him out for being the real piece of trash here. He's stunned by her sudden backbone as she stands her ground. She rises like a final boss, ready to catch these hands. The pain of her past bruises flashes through her mind, remembering the cold words of a woman telling her she only has the right to stay if she's a good child. She spent her whole life trying to be good while being treated like an outcast. The bully continues his verbal assault, mocking her connection to the powerful Liang family. He gets physical, grabbing her hair and acting like a complete savage. When he brings up the death of Liang Yi's mother, something inside her finally snaps. In a blur of motion, she slams him onto the floor with a satisfying thud. She pins him down, looking absolutely feral. Her hand finds his throat and she's not playing around anymore. Thankfully for his life, the teacher bursts in, screaming for everyone to stop the chaos. She lets go, but her eyes remain cold as she reminds the jerk it's actually his turn for duty. She grabs her things and heads out, leaving the classroom in shock. Meanwhile, the real ice prince Liang Yi is being teased by his friend about the fight. His friend points out that our girl was literally throwing hands to defend his honor. Liang Yi looks completely unimpressed, questioning why she'd do that. He scoffs, convinced her little hero act is just a calculated performance to get close to him. He remembers the complicated web of their families, a history stained with drama. He decides that if she wants to play a role, he might as well play along to see where it goes. Our poor heroine, meanwhile, is just trying to process the day's trauma. She ends up stuck doing the heavy lifting at the trash bins because life is just fair like that. Suddenly, a group of girls corners her, eager to know if she's really Liang Yi's brother. They're desperate to find out if she sees the school's heartthrob often. Our girl's eyes soften as she admits she wishes she could see him more too. But she knows the cold truth. Liang Yi probably wants absolutely nothing to do with her. She sighs and tells the girls their pursuit is likely useless. As she tries to walk away, they stop her with a desperate request. They shove a pink love letter into her hands, begging her to deliver it. She stares at the heart-sealed envelope, feeling like a total delivery service. Later that night, she finds herself standing outside a luxury villa, heart pounding. She's standing at his door, wondering why she's the one sweating bullets over a letter she didn't even write. She worries that even this small interaction might count as bothering him. She finally musters the courage to knock. The door swings open, and our girl gets more than she bargained for when she falls headfirst into a very shirtless, very damp Liang Yi. Her face is buried directly in his rock-hard chest, and she is officially malfunctioning. Her internal monologue is screaming because he is, and I quote, really big and firm. Liang Yi looks down at her with a towel over his head, asking what on earth she's doing. She's so flustered she can barely breathe. She frantically pulls out the pink letter and thrusts it toward him like a shield. Her face is a literal tomato as she delivers the message. Without waiting for a response, she turns tail and sprints away in total embarrassment. Back in her room, she's clutching her chest, wondering why her heart won't stop racing. Liang Yi stands there confused, looking at the letter and then at his own abs, wondering what just happened. The next morning at school, the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. She tries to ignore the bullies, focusing only on her desk. But then she overhears the real tea. It wasn't a coincidence the teacher showed up yesterday. Liang Yi was the one who called for help. Her heart skips a beat. Did he actually protect her? She dares to hope that maybe, just maybe, he doesn't hate her guts anymore. Out on the basketball court, Liang Yi is busy being the main character, sinking shots with ease. His friend hands him a water bottle, but Liang Yi realizes he already has one. His friend teases him, revealing that his pretty little brother was the one who dropped it off. He comments on how good their relationship seems to be. Little do they know, our girl is literally hiding behind a vending machine like a secret agent watching him. She realizes she's been spotted and freezes in place. Back in class, the bell rings for the next session, and Liang Yi's desk is covered in first aid supplies from his many fangirls. His friends joke that he could heal just by looking at the pile. He starts handing out the supplies to his buddies, being generous with the gifts he doesn't want. He looks bored by the whole ordeal, but then his friend holds up a specific item, noting that the pretty brother was especially thoughtful. Liang Yi scoffs, calling the gesture heartless rather than kind. His friend then drops a bombshell, asking for an introduction because he actually thinks the brother is cute and wants to date her. Liang Yi reminds him that he's a boy, but the friend doesn't care, saying gender doesn't matter when you like some. Liang Yi flashes back to her blushing face, looking deeply conflicted and annoyed. He clenches his jaw, internally vowing that he won't let that happen. Our girl is caught in a memory of a confession where gender doesn't even matter. But back in the present, the young master is trying to act like he doesn't care. His friend even points out that Zhao Sui is currently being dragged to the rooftop for a beatdown, asking if he's really not going to go watch the chaos. He snaps back, asking why they keep bringing that name up. Usually he's as cold as ice, but today he's clearly triggered. He storms off, claiming he's going to the office. But the friend knows he's lying through his teeth. He doubles down on his no, but we all know where this is going. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, things are heating up. A bully decides to get physical, demanding to know what's going on. He's heard a rumor that some girl named Zio Yun sent our Sui a love letter. Sui plays it cool at first, barely remembering who that even is. Then it clicks, that pink envelope with the little heart. He gives them a look of pure, icy indifference. The bully loses it, hating that smug, beautiful face. But our girl is savage, telling him if he wants to catch these hands, he should just say it directly. She asks why he's making up so many lame excuses just to start a fight. The bully thinks he has the upper hand. Big mistake, Sui flips the script and slams him into the dirt instantly. She actually thanks him for picking such a secluded spot. After all, it would be way too awkward to beat their faces in front of the whole class. She stares down the rest of the gang with a terrifyingly calm gaze, inviting them all to come get some. Cut to later that night at the mansion. Sui tries to sneak back in like a little ninja. She's feeling pretty lucky that she's late, thinking she's home free. She's walking through the halls when a voice from the shadows stops her heart. Where do you think you're going? It's the young master, and he's looking absolutely lethal in the dark. He flips the lights on and the jig is up. She nervously stammers out a greeting, but he's not in the mood for small talk. His eyes lock onto the massive bruise on her cheek. Our girl panics and spins a terrible lie about falling off her bike. He doesn't buy it for a second, grabbing her chin to get a closer look at the damage. He leans in close, calling her a naughty little kid. He knows she's lying through her teeth. She freezes, realizing she can't escape his gaze. He drops a chilling ultimatum. Only obedient children get to stay by his side. Terrified of being kicked out, she grabs his hands and begs for mercy, promising she'll never do it again. She swears to listen to every single word he says. She's practically vibrating with desperation. He looks down at her, thinking she sure knows how to act like a spoiled brat to get her way. He stares at her face, his mind racing. He's still suspicious that this is all a play for sympathy. He looks at her and sees a haunting resemblance to someone from his past. A cold smirk plays on his lips. He grabs her face again, telling her not to show that expression. Sui puts on her most charming, pleasing smile to stay in his good graces. But it only makes him more obsessive because she looks so much like her. He can't get over the likeness. He clenches his fist, fighting back his own chaotic emotions. He tests her, asking if she'll really listen to everything he says. She nods like a good little soldier, completely unaware of the trap. He remembers the letter and the male or female comment. He wonders if she really likes him that much. This is getting interesting. He decides to play along, thinking he'll just pretend to be good to her for now. He knows that if the truth about her ever came out, the world would laugh her into oblivion. He tells her to follow him. Sui is relieved, thinking his mood has finally improved. She follows him like a lost puppy. But then he drops the bomb, "Come to my rooms." He pins her with a look that says he's about to test just how obedient she can really be. They enter his massive room, and Sui is momentarily distracted by all the books. But he calls her over to the bed. He starts inspecting her face and neck for more injuries. Suddenly, he grabs her arm and pulls up her sleeve, exposing a hidden wound. He starts bandaging it up, asking if there's anywhere else she's hiding. She tries to play it off, saying that's really all and she can do the rest herself. But he's not done playing doctor. He looks her dead in the eye and commands, "Take off your shirt." He does not asking. Our poor heroine is left absolutely speechless and blushing like a tomato. Our poor heroine is losing her absolute mind because the closer she gets to him, the more she loses control. She's trembling as he hovers over her, the tension in the room thick enough to cut with a knife. But then he just coldly tells her to handle the medicine herself and walks away, leaving her completely dazed. She watches him go, her heart doing somersaults while he remains an absolute ice king. The silence he leaves behind is deafening as she stares after him with those big expressive eyes. She tries to play it cool and shouts that she's leaving too, but her heart isn't in it. Once she's alone, she clutches his tie like a lifeline, wondering if there's even a tiny chance he actually likes her back. Our girl is blushing like crazy, caught in a swirl of chaotic feelings she can't escape. Meanwhile, he's back in his room looking just as miserable and brooding as ever. He's clearly fighting his own demons, and those blue roses aren't helping the moody vibe one bit. Flashback to school where everyone is obsessed with their beloved significant others. Zhao Sui just watches from the sidelines, looking totally unimpressed by the concept of romance. Her friends try to tell her that love is fun, but she's just not buying what they're selling. She insists that she'll never be the type to have her heart race for anyone, no matter how good-looking they are. She walks away, leaving her friend shouting that she's making a huge mistake. But back then, her home life was a total disaster zone. Returning to a dark apartment, she sees the shoes of a stranger at the door and knows things are about to get messy. She enters the quiet house, her heart sinking with every step. She's always felt that love is just a cheap emotion that can vanish in a heartbeat. She stands there in the dark, a small figure against the weight of her family's crushing secrets. She remembers the fake love between her parents and the disgusting deceit she witnessed. Seeing her father with another woman was the final nail in the coffin for her heart. The woman's words about her mother being dead were cold and savage. It was all just a disgusting game of benefit and lies that our girl had to watch. Young Zhao Sui walked away from that door, vowing never to need love in her life. She marched into the night, hardening her heart against the world. But a voice in her head warned her not to say that too early. Because love isn't something you can just choose to control, no matter how hard you try. One day, the universe decided to play a prank on her. At a crowded party, someone whispered that the young master had finally arrived. And just like that, her entire world shifted on its axis. One glance at Liang Yi and her heart started to tremble uncontrollably. She finally understood what it meant to yearn for someone with every fiber of your being. She would use every possible excuse just to see him one more time. Back in the present, she uses her injuries as a reason to get closer to him. She's playing a dangerous game, wanting to be just a little bit closer to the flame. He leans in, calling her brother in a voice that sends shivers down her spine. Suddenly, the atmosphere turns explosive as he grabs her wrist. He pins her down, his eyes filled with a hunger that's absolutely terrifying. In the heat of the moment, everything else disappears except for the two of them. The rain pours outside as the tension reaches a breaking point. She wants this moment to last forever, wanting his mark etched into her very soul. He doesn't hold back, and the passion is just absolutely chaotic. She dreams of a world where they can stay in this spring forever. A peaceful life where they don't have to hide anything from the world. But reality is a bit more bitter than a dream. Back at school, the gossip mill is running at full speed about a couple breaking up. Zhao Sui just listens, her expression unreadable as she hears that love never survives the summer. Her friend is sobbing over the ridiculous reason for the split. He compares a secret love to a rotten apple that can't stand the heat. Once the summer comes, it just withers away into something gross and forgotten. Later, at the basketball court, the guys are looking for Liang Yi. They point out that he's busy with his girlfriend. Zhao Sui stops in her tracks as she sees him looking all cozy with another girl. The sight of them together is like a punch to the gut. She's stuck doing trash duty while he's living his best life. She accidentally drops her bag, her heart shattering into a million pieces. The contents roll across the floor, including a literal rotten apple. It's the perfect, painful metaphor for her current situation. A love that can't be made public is just destined to rot away. She watches him walk away with the other girl, feeling completely invisible and discarded. Some guys try to corner her, but she's in no mood for their nonsense. She stares them down with a gaze that could freeze the sun. That night, she returns home to find a surprise guest in her room. Liang Yi is waiting for her, looking none too happy that she didn't come find him. He notices the bruises on her, and his face darkens instantly. He demands to know if she got into another fight, his voice dripping with possessive energy. She tries to push him away, saying it has nothing to do with him. But he's not having it, insisting that there's never been a time he didn't take care of her. She tries to claim she can do it herself, but he sees right through her walls. He slams the door shut, locking them in together. He hovers over her, demanding to know what happened. The air between them is electric and suffocating all at once. He finally asks the question that's been burning between them. Who was that girl and why are they so close? He grips her tightly, his jealousy finally boiling over. He looks her dead in the eye, his voice low and desperate. He needs to know what exactly is he in her heart. Our poor heroine Zhao Sui wonders why Liang Yi is suddenly being so gentle. He notices a mark on his skin, realizing that if this man were just a little colder, he might not have fallen this hard. Liang Yi flashes a smile that could melt glaciers, asking if this tiny bit of attention actually counts as kindness. To Zhao Sui, it's everything because no one else has ever treated him with such thoughtfulness. He can't even look the man in the eye, his heart doing backflips in his chest. Liang Yi leans in close, whispering a question about what kind of person Zhao Sui actually likes. Those intense blue eyes are searching for an answer Zhao Sui isn't sure he should get. He admits his ideal type is someone gentle, someone who carries themselves with a certain grace, and ideally someone with long, elegant hair. Zhao Sui sits up, his bandaged arms a reminder of his fragility. In his mind, he's picturing a girl who is the definition of elegance. The scene shifts to the school basketball court, where the atmosphere is thick with fresh drama. The local gossips are already buzzing about the new transfer student, Wen Lai. Word on the street is that Liang Yi is already head over heels for her. The news hits Zhao Sui like a physical blow, causing him to fumble and spill his drink all over his notes. He tries to play it cool while cleaning up the mess, but he can't stop his eyes from drifting toward the door. And there they are, looking like a literal power couple stepped out of a movie. The rumors only get worse, with everyone claiming they're childhood friends who were always destined to be together. Zhao Sui can only stare, the realization sinking in that he might just be a side character in his own life. Night falls over the city and the tension shifts from the classroom to the bedroom. Clothes are discarded as Liang Yi pulls Zhao Sui into a heated embrace. He's aggressive, demanding, and won't take no for an answer. He mocks Zhao Sui for being distant lately, his voice dripping with possessive charm. Finally, Zhao Sui finds the courage to say her name, Wenlai. He asks the question that's been rotting in his gut, is there something going on between them? Liang Yi doesn't even blink before admitting it, leaving Zhao Sui's heart in absolute tatters. He claims that Wenlai and Zhao Sui are actually quite similar. Zhao Sui's grip tightens as the horrific truth settles in. Liang Yi kisses his neck, but the affection feels hollow now. Zhao Sui realizes he's nothing more than a substitute, a placeholder for the girl Liang Yi truly wants. Even knowing he's being used, our girl is so hopelessly addicted that he still can't find the strength to walk away. Back at school, the sky is bright, but Zhao Sui's mood is anything but. A classmate mentions that Liang Yi is downstairs playing basketball, suggesting he wait in the classroom. Zhao Sui slides the door open, expecting silence, but finds a predator waiting in his seat. It's Wenlai, looking every bit as elegant and dangerous as the rumor suggested. Zhao Sui is frozen, his breath hitching in his throat. She stands up slowly, her presence commanding the entire room. She walks right up to him, a condescending smirk playing on her lips. She sneers that this isn't his seat anymore, claiming that Liang Yi specifically told her to meet him here. Zhao Sui's world tilts on its axis as he processes the betrayal. A notification pings, a text from Liang Yi saying he's heading out early and won't be coming for him. Wenlai leans in, gloating about their history and how they spent every waking moment together before she went abroad. She tells him to stop playing house and quit wasting time on his big brother. She looks like she's already won the war. Zhao Sui clenches his fist, the disrespect finally sparking a bit of fire in his soul. He looks her dead in the eye, asking how spending time with someone you love could ever be considered a waste. He flashes a savage, fake smile, refusing to let her see him bleed. He claims that his brother stays with him day and night anyway, so he's got plenty of time to spare. Wenlai is left stunned, her smug expression finally cracking. But internally, Zhao Sui is screaming, calling himself a pathetic failure for lying to himself just to keep his dignity. He returns to the Zhao mansion, his footsteps heavy with exhaustion. To his surprise, Liang Yi is actually home, sitting at the dining table. Liang Yi looks up, his gaze sharp as he asks why Zhao Sui has been avoiding him. He dismisses the tension and orders the staff to bring breakfast for the young master. The maid looks like she's seen a ghost, whispering that she's never had to cook for him before. She tries to make a pathetic excuse, claiming Zhao Sui told her he doesn't eat breakfast. Zhao Sui stands there, the target of everyone's silent judgment. The maid continues to ignore him, and he quietly mentions he'll just take the school bus to avoid the drama. Liang Yi lets out a dark laugh, asking if the driver was too busy to do his actual job. The atmosphere in the room turns sub-zero, and the servants start trembling. Liang Yi's voice drops to a dangerous level as he asks the maid exactly how she just addressed Zhao Sui. She stuttered his name without a single title of respect. Panic sets in as she realizes she's messed up, frantically offering to fix a meal right now. Liang Yi isn't having it, turning his wrath on the butler for allowing such blatant disrespect toward the second young master. The butler bows low, apologizing for his careless management while Zhao Sui watches in shock. Liang Yi slides his own untouched plate toward Zhao Sui. He tells him to eat up and that he'll be waiting in the car. Suddenly, the staff is tripping over themselves to serve him, treating him like royalty for the first time in his life. Zhao Sui stares at the food, his mind spinning at the sudden shift in power. He realizes that Liang Yi actually stood up for him, shielding him from the house staff's cruelty. But then he remembers those haunting words that he and Wenlai are quite alike. He touches his hair, the doubt returning with a vengeance. He wonders if he should just cut it all off to break the resemblance. He's terrified that the moment he stops looking like her, he'll lose this newfound protection. He sits alone at the massive table, a prisoner of his own thoughts. Suddenly, the doors swing open and the staff is dismissed as Madame Zhao enters the room. She puts on a performance of a doting mother, calling him sweetheart with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She personally brings him milk, acting like she actually cares about his well-being. But the mask slips almost immediately as she gets to the point. How are things going between him and Liang Yi? Zhao Sui remains silent, knowing that to her, he's nothing more than a tool to secure a connection to the man upstairs. The aunt is being a total snake, questioning our girl's relationship with Liang Yi. She reminds her that while the Liang Corporation is massive, the real power lies with the grandparents. And since Liang Yi is the only grandson, all that wealth is basically his. The aunt tries to play it sweet, telling our girl to win his favor to secure her future, but our heroine isn't having it and ends the meal right there. She stands up to leave, done with the fake pleasantries. As she walks away, the aunt keeps poking, asking if she really thinks Liang Yi sees her as anything more than a younger brother. She warns her that if she doesn't grab him now, she'll end up with nothing. Our girl stops in her tracks, turning around with a look that could kill. She makes it clear she has no intention of tricking Liang Yi. If there's something she wants, she'll take it herself because she's nothing like her manipulative aunt. As she leaves, the woman stunned, dropping one last truth bomb. She's been allergic to milk since childhood, yet the aunt keeps serving it to her. Talk about a savage exit. We cut to the campus where the atmosphere is totally different. Everyone is buzzing about Lima, a legendary fashion goddess who usually only works with professional models. Rumor has it she's searching for someone new for her upcoming theme. Inside, Lima is ruthlessly dismissing every portfolio as ordinary or barely acceptable. Her standards are through the roof, and her team is starting to panic since the launch is only a month away. Just then, our heroine walks by, looking like a total dream. Lima is looking for someone with cold elegance and a height over 175. She spots our girl and immediately corners her, asking if she's interested in modeling. Our heroine is caught off guard, but the idea starts to take root. Later, she tells Liang Yi about the offer, and he's surprisingly supportive, telling her to go for it. He closes his book and looks her dead in the eye, promising that she'll look absolutely stunning in those outfits. He stands up, closing the distance between them, and pulls her into a sudden heart-thumping embrace. He whispers something spicy, but the mood is broken when a stack of papers falls to the floor. They both look down, and our girl's heart drops. It's her application to study abroad. Liang Yi picks it up, his gaze turning cold. He asks her point blank if she's planning to leave the country. He asks if she's hoping he'll go too, or if she's just trying to leave him behind. He sarcastically remarks that it would be great for her to be alone with her little aunt. Our girl panics, realizing this is a test. She grips his shirt tightly, begging him not to go. She looks up at him with those puppy dog eyes, and he finally softens, saying he was undecided. He admits his great-grandmother wanted him to stay, and now he doesn't want to go anywhere without her. He tilts her chin up and drops a bombshell. He wants her to move in and live with him. Our heroine is speechless. He plays it cool, saying if she doesn't want to, they can just forget it. But she doesn't hesitate for a second, shouting that she agrees and tackling him with a hug. She holds onto him like her life depends on it, convinced this has to be a dream come true. They arrive at a gorgeous new place that's close to her filming location and the university. Our girl is loving every bit of it, but Liang Yi hasn't forgotten about that application deadline. He asks her one more time if she's really staying. He claims he just wants to experience local university life. And our heroine is absolutely beaming. The place is huge and a bit empty, and Liang Yi collapses onto the sofa like he owns the world. He reveals the house was a birthday gift from his mother. Our girl feels a wave of emotion, realizing he's finally letting her into his private world. She sits down beside him, excitedly planning their new life. She even suggests getting a pet to fill the extra rooms, but he just smiles and tells her he doesn't need a pet when he has his little fox right here. He pulls her in close, and they agree to start moving in tomorrow. Our girl is more determined than ever. She looks at him, imagining a life where it's just the two of them, away from all the toxic relatives and drama. No aunts, no mothers, just them. Liang Yi looks at her with such intensity, confessing that he really, really likes her. Our girl swoons, finally feeling like she's exactly where she belongs. Liang Yi is absolutely floored when our girl drops the L word, reminding him that she's supposed to be his sister. He's struggling to process the confession, clutching his head as the weight of their complicated bond hits him. Suddenly, the heavy atmosphere is shattered by the buzzing of a phone. It's Grandpa calling with an urgent matter, forcing Liang Yi to snap back to reality while our heroine watches him nervously. She knows the Liang family matriarch is a total powerhouse, and any sudden summons from that side of the family spells nothing but trouble. Our girl's intuition is screaming, why does Grandma need him right this second? Liang Yi explains he has to head out to collect some vital documents immediately. He tries to keep it cool, but the urgency in his voice is unmistakable. He promises to be quick, but the tension between them is still thick enough to cut with a knife. Before he leaves, he explains that Grandpa insisted the documents be collected today. He leans in with a smoldering look, telling her to wait for him at home tonight. He seals the promise with a tender moment that leaves our heroine completely swooning. She's left behind in a daze, already counting down the seconds until they can finally be together without the world watching. She's practically glowing, convinced that tomorrow will be the start of their real story. Fast forward to dinner, and the mood is way less romantic at the main estate. Our girl arrives looking for Liang Yi, only to find out he's still tied up with family business. Meanwhile, the uncle of the house is playing the part of the supportive father figure, questioning the kids about their future. He's acting all generous, telling the young Zhao Sui to chase his dreams and offering full support for his modeling career. It's a picture-perfect family dinner on the surface. Uncle even suggests that the two of them should start working together to promote the company. Everyone is playing their roles perfectly, with the mother urging Zhao Sui to show some gratitude. But the way Uncle talks about them being a team feels like he's setting a trap. He's pushing them to be inseparable, and for a second, it almost feels like things could be normal. Our girl wants to believe it, hoping that maybe they can find a way to make this work. But the air in the room is getting colder by the second. Beneath the glitz and glamour, the secrets are starting to rot. The sound of footsteps echoes through the hall. The young master has finally returned. Our heroine perks up, her heart racing as Liang Yi walks into the dining room. But he doesn't look happy. He looks like he's ready to burn the whole house down. Uncle tries to keep the peace, suggesting they give Zhao Sui a key to a city property. That was a massive mistake. Liang Yi slams his hands on the table, his eyes flashing with pure rage. He coldly reminds them that the property belongs to his late mother and he's not sharing a single inch of it. The mask is slipping and the trauma of the past is bubbling to the surface. He's done pretending this is one big happy family. Uncle tries to shut him down, telling him to stop living in the past and accept their blood ties. Liang Yi just gives a savage hollow laugh that sends chills down everyone's spine. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a folder. With a flick of his wrist, he sends the papers flying across the table like confetti. Our girl watches in horror as the truth lands right in front of her. It's a DNA test and the results are loud and clear. There is absolutely zero blood relation between them. Liang Yi's smirk is terrifyingly satisfied as he watches the perfect family dynamic shatter into pieces. Her mother's face goes pale, realizing her meal ticket is in jeopardy. She tries to play the victim, acting shocked by the revelation. We see a glimpse of how she manipulated our heroine, using her own status to keep the girl in line. She was so proud of finally having a place in this noble house. She thought she had won the game, but Liang Yi is done with her performance. He starts clapping sarcastically, calling out the moving display of motherly love. He mocks them for pretending to be noble while hiding such a filthy secret for over a decade. He's absolutely furious, his eyes full of a dark, chaotic energy. He can't even stand to look at them without feeling sick. Uncle tries to play it off as a mistake from his youth, asking why Liang Yi can't just let it go. He wants to keep living the lie because it's convenient. Liang Yi repeats the word mistake like it's a death sentence. He gives a chilling smile, knowing he's finally holding all the cards. Our girl can only watch, trembling as the man she loves turns into a stranger. He steps toward her, his presence suffocatingly heavy. He leans down, his breath against her ear as she begs him to stop. He grabs her hand, forcing her to face the reality of what they are to each other now. The proximity is electric and terrifying all at once. He stares her down, mocking his father's words about mistakes. The uncle is losing his mind, screaming at Liang Yi to watch his mouth. He keeps insisting that they are brothers, but the word has lost all its power. Even the staff are starting to whisper, and the scandal is spreading like wildfire. Liang Yi looks at our heroine with pure disgust, unable to separate her from her mother's schemes. He turns his back on the whole mess, leaving her heart in tatters. Uncle demands an explanation, but Liang Yi is already gone. The silence left behind is deafening. The gossip in the kitchen is brutal, calling the whole situation incestuous and filthy. The mother drags our girl away, her face twisted with rage. As soon as they're alone, she lets out her fury with a brutal slap. She screams that she only wanted her to win his heart, not destroy their entire future. She looks at her own daughter with total loathing, calling her disgusting for failing the mission. The mere thought of her daughter's choices literally makes her want to gag. She laughs like a total villain, mocking our girl for being a wretched disgrace. She claims our heroine was born lowly and destined to be despised by everyone. Our girl finally snaps, questioning why she was ever forced to approach him if this was the end game. But as she tries to leave, her mother blocks her path with a terrifying glare. She grabs our girl, demanding she think carefully about the family's status and her own future. Our heroine looks lost, wondering what happened to the life she actually dreamed of. Everything changed because of a single DNA test that proved they aren't even related. She smirks through the pain, asking if she even needs these fake family ties anymore. She stands her ground, her eyes filled with a new, savage determination. She wrenches her arm away, done with being handled like a puppet. The betrayal cuts deep, leaving her breathless and completely shattered. Her mother slams the table, refusing to let her disgrace the family name any longer. Before our girl can react, the door is slammed shut in her face. She desperately rattles the handle, but it's no use. The cold click of the lock confirms she's been imprisoned in her own home. She bangs on the door, screaming to be let out, but her cries fall on deaf ears. Her mother coldly tells her to stay inside until she learns how to behave. Collapsing against the door, our girl realizes she's completely alone. That DNA test was the final nail in the coffin of her old life. She sinks to the floor, whispering that the performance is finally over. Without those documents, she's lost her only connection to the man she loves. She sobs into her hands, terrified that she'll never see him again. But then a realization hits. If they aren't blood-related, she never actually deceived him. A bittersweet smile breaks through her tears as she realizes there's still hope. She prays that he'll find it in his heart to forgive her for the secrets. She wakes up the next morning, disoriented and still trapped. She rushes to the door, hoping the nightmare is finally over. She reaches for the handle, her heart hammering against her ribs. The door finally opens, but she's met with a chaotic scene of servants moving boxes. They're clearing everything out as if someone is leaving for good. Her heart stops when she hears the staff whispering that the young master is moving abroad tomorrow. The shock hits her like a physical blow, leaving her paralyzed. She stammers out a question, desperate to know where he's going. The servants gossip about how he never wanted to stay in this house anyway. She takes off running, refusing to believe he would just abandon her like this. Tears blur her vision as she realizes time is running out. She bursts into his room, her breath hitching in her throat. But the room is stripped bare, cold and hauntingly empty. She breaks down in the middle of the room, feeling the weight of the autumn sorrow. Then she spots a small box left behind containing a single mysterious key. She clutches it to her chest, sobbing because he's already gone. The house feels like a tomb, filled only with the echoes of their farewells. Thinking back on it now, our girl finds the whole situation almost laughable. They didn't even get to spend a full year together before fate tore them apart. She wonders why time hasn't erased these painful memories like it's supposed to. Suddenly, a group of men in suits approach her in the present day. She looks up, her heart skipping a beat as she senses a familiar presence. There he is, standing among the crowd like a ghost from her past. Her eyes widen as she spots the man who looks exactly like her lost love. It's him, but something is different in this strange new world. Her heart begins to thud wildly against her chest. He looks down at her, his expression unreadable and intense. The shock is overwhelming, and she can't even look away from his piercing gaze. He stares at her with a look that says he knows exactly who she is. He reaches out to touch her, but she instinctively flinches back. He points out the flowers caught in her hair, his voice sending shivers down her spine. She turns away, trying to hide how much his presence is affecting her. She's spiraling, wondering why this game character feels so much like the real thing. She tells herself to stay focused. This is just a game, and he's her ticket out. He leans in close, his smirk absolutely lethal as he asks if she's sure. She plays along, asking him to help her down with a flirtatious smile. He reaches out, his touch lingering a little too long for comfort. He starts teasing her by touching her fox ears, knowing exactly how ticklish they are. She lets out a yelp, her face turning beet red from the sudden intimacy. They look out over the villa, and she notes how similar it is to her old home. She quickly covers her tracks, remembering that this game world shouldn't have those settings. She compliments the imposing villa, trying to keep the conversation safe. But her mind is racing as she thinks about the people who used to live there. He asks her pointedly if she still has feelings for them. He pulls her into a sudden embrace, whispering that she should stay with him tonight. Our girl is totally flustered by his boldness. But the romantic moment is ruined when a pink-haired rival appears out of nowhere. The rival demands to know why they're together, looking absolutely livid. Our girl is beyond annoyed, wondering why this person always has to ruin everything. The rival tries to act all innocent and determined. It's a full-blown standoff as the tension between the three of them skyrockets. The guy watches the drama unfold with a calculated look in his eyes. The rival clings to his arm, acting like they're the main couple of this story. Our girl watches with a sour expression, her jealousy starting to show. The rival claims he already agreed to have dinner with her tonight, but he isn't having any of it and coldly pulls his arm away from her. Our girl decides she's seen enough and prepares to walk away. The rival shoots her a look of pure malice, clearly planning her next move. Our heroine realizes that no matter where she goes, she's never the one who gets to choose. She reflects on the fact that this is all just a game, but the feelings are starting to feel way too real. She looks back with a smoldering gaze, declaring that he can only belong to her. Our girl is on a top-secret mission, hiding behind a newspaper like a low-budget spy. She's barely holding it together while monitoring the situation. But out of nowhere, this handsome, wolf-eared guy leans in and totally blows her cover. She tries to hush him up before they are spotted, but he's already having way too much fun teasing her. He drops the bomb that her target has already noticed her. Our poor heroine panics, peeking over her paper to see President Kin staring right back with a look that could kill. The wolf guy offers a wicked deal. He'll help her test Kin's feelings. He leans in dangerously close, making it look like they're the hottest new couple in the room. Across the restaurant, President Kin is definitely watching, and he is not amused. He grips his glass so hard you'd think it was someone's neck. When his date asks what's wrong, he just plays it cool, but those eyes say otherwise. He's stuck in a boring dinner with the pink-haired rival, Zai Youngking. Our girl watches from afar, her inner fox absolutely fuming at the sight. She sighs, thinking the whole spying mission is a total bust. It really feels like Kin doesn't give a single damn about her. Seeing her down, the wolf guy decides it's time to stir the pot and touches her chin. She agrees to his plan, and they prepare to make a grand entrance. Meanwhile, the rival is busy playing the considerate girlfriend, cutting up steak like she's already won. She's all smiles, feeling like she's finally got Kin where she wants him. She starts reminiscing about their school days and his old confession. She tells him she's finally thought it through and is ready to give him an answer. She asks if he still wants to hear it, looking all innocent and sweet. But Kin looks like he'd rather be anywhere else, his hesitation speaking volumes. He covers his face, clearly fighting a massive internal battle. He tries to convince himself that she's the one he should like. But before the confession can land, our savage queen swoops in to ruin the mood. She hits them with a fake smile and suggests they all share a table. She doesn't even wait for an answer before calling the waiter for more chairs. The rival is absolutely livid, her sweet persona cracking in record time. Our girl explains that a scandal would be bad for their new film, so sitting together is just professional. The air is thick with tension as the girls exchange death glares. The waiter arrives, totally oblivious to the war zone he just stepped into. The silence at the table is heavy enough to crush a diamond. Kin reaches out, his hand hovering with unspoken frustration. The rival clings to him, insisting on sitting right by his side. It's officially the world's most awkward double date. The two girls lean in, basically shooting lasers at each other with their eyes. Kin finally breaks the silence, demanding to know why the wolf guy Zhao Sui is hanging around. Our girl starts to sweat, realizing her lie might be a bit thin. But Zhao Sui is a pro, laughing it off as a simple misunderstanding. He claims they just happened to meet up for a chat. The rival isn't buying it, looking like she wants to claw someone's eyes out. She tries to regain control by bringing up the casting for their new project. It turns out Zhao Sui is the lead actor playing opposite our heroine. Our girl is shocked. She's going to be filming romantic scenes with this guy. Zhao Sui just smirks, thinking this is going to be way more fun than he expected. President Kin looks like he's about to explode, his jealousy reaching critical levels. He demands to know if she arranged this on purpose. Our girl is stunned. Why does he suddenly care so much? Suddenly, her system pings with a notification. Kin's jealousy level is at 30%. She can't help but smirk. The trick actually worked. She doubles down, grabbing Zhao Sui's arm to drive the point home. She leans her head on his shoulder, acting all cozy and intimate. She looks at Kin and asks if he minds them getting acquainted early. Kin's eyes practically glow with rage, the monster inside finally waking up. We flash back to a high-class party from years ago. A waiter moves through the crowd with a tray of drinks. A younger Kin stands there looking cold and detached. He watches from the shadows as a couple walks away together. The whole ballroom is buzzing with gossip about the Liang family heir. People are whispering about a new model the company just signed. A pair of sharp, observant eyes watch every move. A toast is made, sealing a deal or perhaps a fate. And in the end, a lone figure stands in the light, forever haunted by what he saw. Zhao Sui is being pushed to serve a drink to the high-end mighty general. Our boy is clearly out of his element, trembling as he faces the cold gaze of the man in front of him. Suddenly, a bold newcomer steps in to take the heat, offering to toast on Zhao Sui's behalf. This guy, Yahello, thinks he can just slide into the conversation and play the hero. But the tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a knife as eyes lock. Kinney isn't having any of it, his gaze sharpening as he blocks the drink with a savage level of disrespect. Yahello is left sweating bullets, realizing he stepped on a lamb. Zhao Sui sees the disaster unfolding and decides to take charge, telling them not to make things difficult. To everyone's shock, he grabs the glass himself. He's not letting anyone else control the narrative today. Our hero downs the champagne like a boss. The room goes silent as he stares directly into Kinney's soul. With a smirk that says he knows exactly what he's doing, he whispers a chilling welcome back. Kinney looks like he's just seen a ghost, his composure completely shattered. Zhao Sui holds the empty glass up, making sure the message is received loud and clear. Deep inside Kinney's mind, a memory of a crying boy and shattered glass flickers like a broken film. The trauma of the past is bleeding into the present, and it's chaotic. Zhao Sui just continues to act like nothing happened, finishing his dramatic performance. He sets the glass down with a final click. As he walks away, Kinney can't help but track his every move, his obsession starting to show. But then some cat-eared flirt tries to get touchy-feely with Zhao Sui. Big mistake, Kinney moves like a predator, grabbing the guy's wrist and growling for him to back off. Even Kinney is stunned by his own protective streak, wondering why he's acting so feral. He stares at Zhao Sui, his golden eyes filled with a mix of confusion and longing. He's losing his grip on reality, haunted by memories that shouldn't exist. Why is this boy appearing in his mind like a recurring nightmare? Zhao Sui calls out his name, sensing the internal storm. His manager steps in, noticing how pale he's become, and insists he leaves the party early. Kinney looks like he's about to collapse from the mental strain. He finally lets go, retreating into the shadows while his heart is still back in that room. He stands up to leave, but the damage to his cold exterior is already done. Back at the party, Zhao Sui is still dealing with the annoying cat boy who thinks he has a chance. Zhao Sui is totally over the small talk and just wants to bounce. He plays it cool, thanking the guy for the favor but making it clear they aren't friends. The flirt tries to push his luck, but our boy's savage side comes out. Internally, Zhao Sui is screaming about this broken game and how annoying the NPCs are. He's got no progress on his main target and time is ticking. He tells the flirt exactly what he thinks. He has zero interest in players who fall for everyone they meet. Ouch, that's gotta sting. He walks away, leaving the guy pouting in the dust. The next day at the film set, Zhao Sui is scanning the crowd for any sign of his target. But Kinney is nowhere to be found, and the staff says he's too busy for a movie set. This is bad news because the system is literally counting down the days until his life ends. He's got 2 weeks left to conquer this man or it's game over for real. He decides he needs to pull a pro gamer move and trick Kinney into showing up. But before he can send a text, a hand slams against the wall behind him. It's Wen, and he's getting way too close for comfort. He tries to act all charming, but the vibe is straight up creepy. Zhao Sui manages to wiggle out of the trap, claiming he has a scene to film. He makes a run for it, not looking back. He can feel Wen's eyes on his back, and it makes his skin crawl. There's something about that guy that feels dangerous, like he's more than just a background character. in the distance, and Wen watches him with a sinister glow in his eyes. This guy is definitely a threat. Look at that expression, he's clearly plotting something devious. Meanwhile, back at the corporate office, Kinney is trying to focus on work. He's acting like a cold CEO, turning down every dinner invitation that comes his way. He refuses to meet anyone, especially Song Zisai. But his mind keeps drifting back to that moment in the rain. He remembers watching from the shadows, his jealousy already brewing. He throws his documents aside, unable to concentrate. His assistant is confused because the boss is acting completely erratic. Kinyi is usually so composed, but mention of the film set has him on edge. Suddenly, his phone buzzes with a message from Zhao Sui. Our boy is lying through his teeth, claiming he sprained his foot and is in total agony. He even sends a pathetic crying sticker to seal the deal. He tells Kinyi that only a visit from him will stop the pain. Kinyi stares at the screen, his expression unreadable. He starts to type a cold, busy, not going. But then another notification pops up. A photo of the cat boy getting close to Zhao Sui. That's the final straw. Kinyi slams his phone onto the desk with a thunderous crash. His assistant jumps, wondering if the building is falling down. Kinyi grabs his jacket, his eyes burning with a possessive fire. He demands to be taken to the film set immediately. Someone's about to get a very jealous CEO visit. The camera rolls on a high-stakes scene as our heroine delivers a tear-jerking performance about being left behind. She's got the fox ears on and the waterworks going full throttle, acting her heart out. The director watches the monitor like a hawk while she begs her brother not to abandon her in the future. She discovers a set of documents, and the heartbreak in her eyes is so raw it's almost savage. What is this? She screams, delivering a performance that would make any drama queen swoon. Kinyi is standing off-set, watching her transform into a completely different person with a cold, unreadable gaze. In the scene, her co-star promises our girl that they'll live together outside the palace walls. He looks at her with a fake devotion that's honestly a bit cringe. He asks if she wants to leave with him because he really likes her, and our poor heroine looks like she's actually buying it. But the mood shifts instantly to something much darker as we see Kinyi's internal turmoil. Back in the real world, he's haunted by a DNA test result that changes everything. His hands are literally shaking as he processes the truth behind his family's lies. The documents prove a connection he never wanted to acknowledge, and his blue eyes are freezing over. He remembers a mysterious older man, Liang Yi, being ordered to leave the country immediately to hide the scandal. Suddenly, the director calls a cut, and the heavy atmosphere vanishes in a heartbeat. Our girl's heart is still thumping from the intensity, but the shoot has ended smoothly for the day. The staff are already planning their dinner, completely oblivious to the real-world drama unfolding. Our girl tries to sneak away while cleaning up the props, hoping to avoid any more chaotic encounters. But a set of expensive shoes stops her dead in her tracks. A cold voice asks if she didn't claim to have a twisted ankle earlier. Our girl turns around, and her eyes go wide when she realizes Kinyi actually showed up to see her. She immediately switches into cute and innocent mode, trying to explain her way out of the lie. She tries to play it off as a misunderstanding, giving him her best puppy dog eyes. She clings to his arm, whining about how they were supposed to have dinner together. But Kinyi isn't buying the act for a single second, looking totally done with her antics. He looks at her with those glowing eyes, wondering if she only came to this set because of *him*. Memories of a rainy, miserable night flash through his mind, making his gaze even sharper. He looks at her through the rain of his memories, recalling how she looked when she was truly vulnerable. The rain-soaked image of her crying for her brother still haunts him. He shakes off the memory and her hand, his expression turning icy. But then he admits the truth, he really did come just to find her. The rest of the cast can only watch in stunned silence as the big boss holds her away like a captured fox. She looks at him with a mix of surprise and secret satisfaction. "I came to find you," he repeats, and the drama of it all is just too much. He leads her away from the set, his grip tight and possessive. The other actors can only whisper about the crazy chemistry between them. Once they're alone, our girl tries to tease him about coming all this way just for a walk. He calls her out on the fake ankle injury, and she just laughs it off, saying his presence naturally healed her. "You lied to me again," he sighs, though he looks more exhausted than truly angry. He suddenly drops a bombshell, asking if she knows a man named Liang. Our girl's internal monologue goes into overdrive as she tries to process the name. She pretends she's never heard it, wondering why a Liang would be in this game world. Kinyi watches her face closely, searching for any sign of a lie. He's not convinced, especially since she hesitated the moment he mentioned the name. She tries to flip the script, asking if he's suddenly showing interest in the people around her. "I have no interest," he snaps, but his blushing face says otherwise. "I think you like me already," she whispers, leaning in close enough to make him panic. He tries to pull away, claiming it's late and he should go home. But our girl isn't letting him off that easily. She pushes him back, taking full control of the situation while he looks absolutely stunned. She puts her hand on his chest, mentioning that her bed is plenty big enough for two. When he tries to resist, she pulls her ultimate move, faking a leg injury. She collapses onto the ground with a dramatic ayas, looking like a wounded bird. Kinyi is skeptical, but he can't help but worry about his chaotic fox. He asks if her leg really hurts, and she gives him the most pathetic look she can muster. He ends up giving in, his resolve crumbling under her manipulation. He gently lifts her up and places her on a nearby bench. He kneels before her, checking the injured leg with surprising tenderness. He starts gently massaging her ankle, asking if it still hurts. She smiles, telling him he really does care about her after all. He tries to deny it, but his hands are still holding her foot with total care. She watches him, feeling a bit smug about how comfortable this is. She takes advantage of the moment, pulling on his tie to bring him down to her level. The air is thick with tension as she tells him she wants him to stay and make her feel better tonight. He stares at her, his eyes wide and heart racing as she pulls him closer. She asks if that's okay with a mischievous wink. He looks like he's about to lose his mind from the proximity. She's got him exactly where she wants him, and the night is just getting started. He can't even look away as she demands his full attention. His hands are still wrapped around her, caught in her trap. She leans in, her voice a soft, dangerous purr. The roses in the background don't even compare to the blooming tension between them. He's sweating bullets while she remains perfectly calm and savage. "Stay here," she repeats, making sure he knows she's the one in charge. He looks like he's struggling to breathe as she gets even closer. Every touch is calculated, every look is a weapon. She whispers her request again, her eyes shining with triumph. As she leans in for the kill, it's clear that President Qin has officially been tamed. But the mood is instantly shattered as he's called out for being a total liar. Our poor CEO is absolutely fuming, while the fox-eared menace just stands there looking pretty. He storms off, declaring he won't believe another word, while our chaotic boy just laughs in Shibai. Later, he's just chilling on a bench like he didn't just set a man's heart on fire. He looks way too innocent with that smile, surrounded by flowers. The CEO walks away, but he can't stop the gears from turning in his head. He's spiraling, wondering how on earth things ended up like this. He's losing sleep, looking like a high-end model even when he's stressed. Wide awake at 3 a.m., he's officially haunted by the fox's face. He tries to convince himself there's absolutely no way he's actually falling for him. Back at the office, he's totally distracted by his phone. He looks like death warmed over, and his assistants are definitely noticing the vibe shift. His dark circles are so deep they're basically a fashion statement at this point. He's been working all night, or at least that's the lie he's sticking to. Meanwhile, our fox boy is busy being a digital menace. He's intentionally ignoring messages, leaning into the chaos. He's playing the ultimate game of hard to get. And honestly, he's looking way too smug while doing it. The CEO is checking his phone every 5 seconds like a lovesick teenager. Even at home, he's obsessing over the lack of notifications. Not a single text all day, the audacity is off the charts. He finally throws his phone in a fit of pique. He tries to close his eyes and forget the fox ever existed. Suddenly, a buzz breaks the silence of his room. He stares at the phone, debating if he should give it. He reaches for it, giving us a gratuitous look at those gym gains. But it's just a message from Uncle Wang about family drama. His brother is officially being erased from the family history. He smirks, claiming he never had a younger brother to begin with. He stands by the window, looking all broody and dramatic against the city skyline. He flashes back to the short months they spent together. Was it really just a passing encounter? He tries to act like he's over it, but the memories are sticky. He wonders if one person can really influence his entire life path. He moves on, walking through the years and trying to stay on his original path. He goes to lectures and parties, surrounding himself with people just to feel something else. He tells himself that very soon he'll be able to forget him for good. Fast forward 4 years and a plane is finally landing. He's back on home turf and looking sharper than ever. He's greeted at the airport by a friend in a flashy car. They chat about his successful game company and his long-awaited return. He's been a ghost for 4 years, never returning home once. He claims there's no one here he even wants to see, so why bother? His friend isn't buying the I don't care act for a second. He mentions a surprise waiting for him at a party tonight. Our guy wonders what kind of surprise could possibly move him now. At the party, the atmosphere is electric. Someone is making a grand entrance that stops everyone in their tracks. It's him, the one he's been trying to erase from his brain for years. The CEO freezes as his heart starts doing gymnastics. 4 long years of trying to be stoic gone in a second. And there he is, looking like a literal dream. He tried to forget him every single day, but it was total torture. Just one glance and all those high walls come crashing down. His composure is completely shattered into a million pieces. He watches him walk past, feeling the old thorns of attraction. Suddenly, he snaps awake. It was all a vivid, painful dream. He's sitting up in bed, heart pounding and totally disoriented. Why does a dream cause so much physical pain? His butler brings in some tea to help him refresh his mind. Then he hands over some mysterious case files. The CEO is confused. Why on earth did he order an investigation on this guy? Apparently, he's been so busy he's forgetting his own orders. He takes the file, his hands trembling just a bit. He looks at the documents, feeling a massive sense of déjà vu. He's spiraling again, wondering why his dreams are becoming his reality. Why is he investigating and when? His feelings are a chaotic mess and he doesn't recognize himself anymore. Suddenly his phone pings. It's a text from the man himself asking him to come out and play. The crew is buzzing as they prep the rooftop set for the next big scene. Our girl is standing right on the edge, looking down at the drop with a major case of the jitters. Her co-star Zhao Sui acts all sweet and professional while going over the script. He promises it's just going to be a fake push and that she should just dodge to the side. Our poor heroine nods along, totally unaware she's dealing with a snake. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts as the big boss, President Qin, decides to grace the set with his presence. He claims he's just passing by, but we all know he's there to keep an eye on his favorite fox-eared girl. The director calls for action, and that's when Zhao Sui's expression goes from charming to chilling. Instead of a fake nudge, he gives her a savage full-force shove. Our girl's feet slip right off the ledge. She's plummeting through the air, certain that her life is flashing before her eyes. Suddenly, a high-tech digital bracelet starts glowing on Zhao Sui's wrist. He reaches out and grabs her hand, but it's not to save her. He's actually using the moment to snatch the bracelet right off her arm. He smirks, gloating about how easy it was to steal her gear while she's literally falling to her death. Our girl is screaming internally as she continues to drop. But just as things look fatal, her system finally decides to do its job and lets out a loud beep. Gravity straight up stops working, leaving her suspended in midair. The entire world starts glitching out with system error messages as it begins an emergency repair. A countdown appears, and before she knows it, time rewinds and she's back on the roof before the push even happened. She's shaking, realizing she just experienced a death loop while everyone else is acting like nothing happened. She pieces it together. That mysterious bracelet only manifests when she's in life-threatening danger. She looks at Zhao Sui, realizing he's way more dangerous than he looks. Just as Zhao Sui tries to get close again, President Qin storms over, shouting for him to keep his hands off her. The tension on this roof is high enough to snap. Qin looks absolutely livid, his eyes glowing with a protective rage. Our girl is stunned to see him this worked up. It turns out Zhao Sui isn't the only one with secrets. As he realizes President Qin actually remembers the previous timeline too. Qin doesn't care about the games. He pulls our girl into a protective embrace. She leans into him, feeling a strange sense of relief in his arms. But the peace doesn't last long when a massive digital glitch hits her brain. Fragmented memories of code and secret conversations start flooding her mind. She's clutching her head in pain, and Qin immediately notices she's unwell. She looks up at him, wondering why this cold CEO is suddenly acting so concerned. She decides to test his favorability score, but the system chooses the worst possible moment to go into maintenance mode. After the shoot wraps, the director invites everyone out for drinks. Our girl gets a chaotic idea. If she gets Qin drunk, she might finally get some real answers. Cut to the bar and mission accomplished. President Qin is officially wasted. Our girl selflessly offers to take him home all by herself. Once they get back to his place, the drunk CEO starts getting needy, demanding more wine. But then he turns those intense, hazy eyes on her. He pulls her close in a total power move, and the temperature in the room just skyrocketed. He whispers a low question that has our girl and us absolutely swooning.